His closing two paragraphs. Ever since my first game at Old Trafford, I've been impressed by the way you stick with a team, even at difficult moments. This does not happen at every club. It's something Manchester United fans can be proud of. I noticed the difference between the media noise that surrounds this club and the support inside the stadium, and we don't take that for granted. Well, only results will change that, as there is a decent atmosphere inside Old Trafford, as the players take the knee with a message loud and clear: no room for racism. Manchester United will be playing from right to left as they get us underway in this first half in their red shirts and white shorts, therefore attacking the Stretford end, and it means that they then will be attacking the same end where Scott McTominay salvaged two late goals to produce a 2-1 victory in the corresponding fixture last season. We talk about Brentford starting quickly. It's a game which has produced a lot of goals in stoppage time in the last two meetings. Manchester United have it though, and Martinez onto the ball from Eriksen as he enters the Brentford half. Brentford have got everybody back behind the ball. Eriksen trots his way into the centre circle, and then Johnny Evans passes the ball back, and we've already probably ticked over 60 seconds there or thereabouts, and they're still yet to have a touch of the ball, the opposition.
No, so it's job done from Manchester United in these early stages. Brentford haven't scored yet.
Ball cleared away by Flecken, all in blue. Martinez heads it out of play. No, it actually stays in play on this near side. Fernandes to Garnacho, Casemiro, Eriksen on the halfway line. Rashford had just dropped short, and instead Eriksen passed the ball square towards De Ligt. Eriksen, though, getting a lot of touches in these early stages.
Yeah, he's on the half-turn there. Christian Eriksen just inside the Brentford half. He's looking for that run from Rashford or Højlund in behind.
Martinez out towards Fernandes on this left-hand side. Fernandes sends over the cross, and arriving at the near post late was Højlund, but gathered in by the goalkeeper, Mark Flecken.
Yeah, had he been a bit more proactive there, Rasmus Højlund would have had an easy tap-in. Good little shift from Fernandes onto his left foot and cross-fired in.
A goal at Sinsel Bank, Shojo Saka.
Lincoln City 1, Birmingham 0. Lincoln have done a Brentford. Bailey Cadamarchi with the finish. It was a throw-in from the right, straight through the Birmingham defence. Quite a neat little finish. Lincoln 1, Birmingham 0.
And that's good news for Wrexham, who've just taken the lead. Phil Parkinson's side are ahead at Rotherham. Lincoln, incidentally, are going well. They're unbeaten in 7. And Morecambe 0, MK Dons 1 is a latest scoreline in League 2. So a few early goals in the Football League. The usual Saturday goal service with this our base here at Old Trafford, as Brentford coming forward. Janel with a cross shot and missed it. What an opportunity that was for Brentford. Just dropped 6 yards out, couldn't get the touch.
Well, I just wonder, was there a touch from Johnny Evans? But Sharda, middle of the 6-yard box. Don't know how he missed it, why he didn't go with his head. He just peels in behind Evans. I think there is a slight touch. Evans' right boot takes it away from Sharda. Let's have a look again. Slightest of touches. Sharda still could have done better there.
Certainly hasn't been prolific. 2 goals in his 40 appearances so far for Brentford, as they have a throw, and it'll be Pinnock to deliver it. It's a long looping throw aimed towards the near post, and one bounce and through into the arms of Onana. There were a lot of bodies there. Onana hangs on to the ball, then looks for the distribution down the middle, and that should be dealt with running back by Aya, just to curb the attentions of Garnacho. And Aya runs into a central area and now makes his way to the left side of the centre circle before switching play to this near side. And it was Sepp Vandenberg, who they signed from Liverpool. They're a big unit, aren't they, at the back, Brentford?
And Manchester United are going to have to deal with long throws. Set plays have a big bearing on this result. You just look at the fullbacks. Christopher Aya, 6'5", 6'6". Vandenberg, he must be 6'4".
Signed from Liverpool on a 5-year deal in August for an initial fee of £20 million. Certainly Thomas Frank has been very impressed with the defender since he arrived. Thomas Frank, who incidentally celebrated his birthday during the international break. The Dane, who's done an excellent job since he was appointed as the head coach some 6 years ago. 0-0 in the early stages here on 5 Live. We're also available on the BBC Sounds app here at Old Trafford. Manchester United 0, Brentford 0. Goal at Fulham, Will Perry.
Fulham 1, Aston Villa 0. Bernd Leno with the assist, booted right upfield. Raul Jimenez, the man in form, hustled with the Villa defence and tucked it past Martinez into the bottom right corner. Fulham 1, Villa 0.
Colchester United 0, Cheltenham 1 is the latest score in League 2. Big chance at St Mary's. Who to? Lee Blakeman.
To Southampton, it's 0-0. Corner's just been sent in from the right. Fell for a rebound. His header came crashing off the bar. 5 gone. Southampton 0, Leicester 0.
Earlier, Tottenham Hotspur beat West Ham United by 4-1. They came from behind. Kudus was sent off for West Ham. In the Championship, the results from the early games: Cardiff 5, Plymouth 0, Luton 3, Watford 0, Oxford 1, West Bromwich Albion 1, and Preston, unbeaten in 6 at home, beat Coventry City by 1-0. Couple of games in the early ones in League 1. Reading beat Crawley 4-1, Wycombe were 3-1 winners at home to Peterborough, and just the solitary game in League 2 as Accrington Stanley beat Barrow by 1-0. Brentford have the ball with Pinnock, 30 yards out from his own goal. Vandenberg hops on the inside of Garnacho and back towards Pinnock, and just keeping the ball at the back for the time being are Brentford. As Cambridge United, who are bottom of League 1 and yet to win, have taken the lead at home to Wigan Athletic. Wigan in fact unbeaten in 7, but Cambridge do lead at the Abbey Stadium. Mbumo on this near side, the right corner of the area. Martinez backpedals, and Mbumo comes on the inside, left-footed rising shot. Off target, goal kick, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, good little shift there on the inside, on that hammer of a left foot of his. Brian Mbumo, 6 Premier League goals this season so far, more than Manchester United. That's going to be an interesting head-to-head, that, isn't it, against Lisandro Martinez, who's out of position, playing at left-back.
Remember, Ipswich-Everton is a delayed kick-off. They won't be underway until 3:15. But Newcastle-Brighton, the latest from Masfarouki.
Nice start for Newcastle. A ball on a tight angle from the left from Gordon. Bruggen scrambling, and Livramento with the ball 8 yards out as well. Just giving Brighton something to think about in the early stages, but still Newcastle 0, Brighton 0.
Norgard wins the ball in the midfield, plays the ball back to Flecken. Reared up quite awkwardly for Flecken. Eventually he had to just retreat a little bit. Didn't get much on the clearance. Manchester United now get it back. Eriksson out towards Garnacho, left-hand side, enters the penalty area, and then a block comes in from Vandenberg, and last touch came off Garnacho, and behind it goes for a goal kick. So still, Manchester United 0, Brentford 0. Southampton-Leicester, Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 1, Leicester 0. Ball in from the left. It was low, and it was tapped in at the back post by Cameron Archer. 2-2 for him. Southampton 1, Leicester 0.
Looking, of course, for their first win since they returned to the Premier League. As the goal kick for Brentford is taken short, and actually Pinnock knocks it to Fleck, and they attempt to play out from the back. Pinnock then will have to go long, left-hand side of his own penalty area. Good commanding climb by Dallow. Manchester United repel that. 8 minutes played, 0-0, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and Brentford just keeping possession. Tell you one to watch, Kevin Schade as a centre forward. Manchester United in their centre half position, Evans and De Ligt don't have great pace. We know that Kevin Schade does have, and Brentford will be looking to exploit that.
Lewis Potter playing on the left. Here he is, the former Hull City man. Back it goes to Ayer, and then Ayer back to Fleck, and lets it come across his body, controls it right-footed, passes the ball towards Norgard. Manchester United, though, are pressing Brentford, who eventually beat that press, and Norgard gets it out towards Ayer, and Ayer can now run forward on the left-hand side, and there's good ground to run into as he canters his way over the halfway line, and Ayer still got it, 30 yards out from goal, now into a central position, tries to pick out Mbumo, sliding back was Garnacho, and Onana with the clearance for Manchester United.
Gallops forward there, Christopher Ayer. As you're right, Brentford beat the Manchester United press, and Eriksson chasing him back. Only one winner in that foot rest, but the ball to Brian Mbumo wasn't quite there.
I said cantered, you said galloped. We will be crossing to John Hunt for the Queen Elizabeth Stakes at Ascot at 3:15 on Champions Day. Another goal at Craven Cottage, Will Perry.
Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1. They were behind for only 3 minutes. It's a horrible deflection, but it'll go down as Morgan Rogers' goal. I think it came off Joachim Andersen. Anyway, it's beaten Leno, and Villa are level. Fulham 1, Villa 1.
We welcome listeners to the BBC World Service. Thank you for joining us here at Old Trafford on this sunny, bright afternoon as Damsgaard picks it up for Brentford. Looks for Sharda to make that run into the penalty area. Right-hand side, out of the box he goes, and Bumo is there, and along the ground he'll find Janelt. Takes it into feet with his left foot. Queen's Park Rangers lead Portsmouth by 1-0 in the Championship. Portsmouth, who are yet to win in any competition this season, have fallen behind. So wherever you are in the world, it's always a pleasure to have your company. 0-0 between Manchester United and Brentford as Flecken goes direct through the middle, and Bumo, header away by De Ligt, picked up by Sharda, knees it forward. He was caught there by De Ligt, and Brentford have a direct free kick just about 25 yards out from goal, 0-0.
That's a really clumsy challenge from De Ligt. One of Brentford's principles of play. They'll always have a runner in behind. One long ball, Brian Mbeumo off the right-hand side, and the ball headed clear to Kevin Sharda, who picked up the knockdown, knocked it over De Ligt and was caught in the process. And this is a decent range, this, 25 yards out. De Ligt gets clobbered in his head as well there.
His head collided with the knee of Sharda.
Yeah, but he was brave, De Ligt, but mistimed the challenge, and it looks a sore one.
Let's get news of that goal at Queen's Park Rangers then. They are leading at home to Portsmouth by 1-0. Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, crucial goal. 1-0 to QPR. Karamoko Dembele gets his first goal for the club since joining on loan from French side Brest. And the goalkeeper for Portsmouth, Nicholas Schmidt, came off his line. Dembele waded over him perfectly to put QPR in the lead, 1-0.
Lengthy stoppage here. Physio's tending to De Ligt, who's still down. We'll get an update. The Rugby Union, James Burridge.
Perfect start for Bristol. They lead by 5 points to 0. Number 8, Fitzharding, driven over from a 5-metre line out. The conversion missed, but the perfect start. 6 minutes gone. Bristol 5, Saracens 0.
Harry Maguire is out injured.
Lindelof.
They have Lindelof on the bench, who made his first appearance for the last 45 minutes before the international break. Brentford are taking advantage of this stoppage in play. Keith Andrews, the set-piece coach, is having a word with Mbeumo. Thomas Frank is also having an opportunity to talk to a couple of players. Jan Elton and Norgard. Remains 0-0, but still De Ligt is down on the floor and getting treatment. Back to Fulham, Will Perry.
Still Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1, but Fulham should be 2-1 up, and Jimenez should have his second as Morgan Rogers comes close and just drags a shot wide, but it was a corner from Pereira. Jimenez jumped inside the 6-yard box and his header bouncing just wide. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1.
Charlton 0, Stockport County 1 is the latest score in League 1, and at Valley Parade in League 2, Bradford City 0, Gillingham 1 is a latest scoreline. Lindelof going through his paces, and De Ligt is still down.
Yeah, and they also have the option, of course, moving Martinez inside and Matt Drowie, who's on the bench. They could move Darlow, who's such a versatile defender, over to left back, where he's played many times before.
Matt Drowie, who of course has had that minor heart surgery, although he isn't warming up. I mean, you're just going on the solitary player. That is Lindelof, who really is going through the paces away towards our left-hand side. De Ligt is up on his feet. He's got a swab on the top of his head as there is a goal at Ewood Park. Julia Bolt.
It is. It's Blackburn 1 at Swansea 0. That goal from Tyrese Dolan. Blackburn have been good for it as well. They should have scored just moments earlier through Makdar Gay. However, now it is Blackburn 1, Swansea 0.
Blackburn, who've lost their last 2 games in the Championship. Crewe 0, Salford City 1. Crewe, who've won their last 5 at home in League 2. Behind then at Gresty Road. De Ligt is on his feet. Come to the side of the pitch on this near side, and he's now actually back on his knees as he's continuing to get cleaned up with that head injury. As Brentford, after that lengthy stoppage, 0-0 here, 13.5 minutes played, have a free kick. Free kick to Brentford, just under 30 yards out. Lewis Potter or Mbeumo. Lewis Potter hits it, right-footed, into the top of the wall. Downward header by Casemiro is going to run out of play for a throw. Southampton, Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 1, Leicester 0. Couple of chances for Leicester though. Fassis just put one over on the stretch from 6 yards, and James Justin's headed wide from 10. Southampton 1, Leicester 0.
Out it goes towards Lewis Potter, left-hand side for Brentford, who are attacking. Clips over the cross, it's a deep one. Martinez twists and heads it away inside his own penalty area. Down to 10 men. And it will be a throw to Manchester United. Another goal at Sinsel-Bank, Shojo Saka.
Lincoln 1, Birmingham 1. Birmingham getting their groove going, and they equalised through Keshi Anderson. Played in by Alfie May, a lovely left-footed finish by Anderson. It's Lincoln 1, Birmingham 1.
Still getting patched up there, isn't he? Delict.
It's a wound on the top of his head. Casemiro has dropped into centre half, and Bruno Fernandes just before that throw-in telling Sandro Martinez just to slow things down.
Casemiro is the player who's filled in temporarily alongside Johnny Evans as Dalot goes out towards that far side. The Brentford left, Lewis Potter turns, passes the ball back to Jan Elt as Delict enters the field of play, or re-enters, and Manchester United back up to their full quota, 0-0. Quarter of an hour played on BBC Radio 5 Live, the BBC Sounds app, and also available on the World Service. Here is Vandenberg. Low cross from the right, cleared by Eriksson. Good spell though for the away team.
It is, they've got control of this game. Brentford, good ball in from Vandenberg from the right hand side, went through Johnny Evans' legs, and Eriksson positioned himself well in the near post area and made the clearance.
Pinnock waits to take the throw. Level the penalty area right hand side, still goalless at Old Trafford. Brentford are playing from left to right as we look. So Pinnock on this near side, again launches another long throw, comes off the head of Casemiro. Damsgaard down into the ground, first time volley right-footed, blocked. Damsgaard still looking for his first goal in the Premier League, and in the end it's Onana who just dives on top of the ball over on that far side of the penalty area.
Yeah, once again that long throw causing Manchester United a problem. Not a convincing headed clearance. Damsgaard 18 yards out centrally, doesn't catch the volley cleanly.
Norgard, forward ball, and Mbeumo holds off the challenge, spins, but he's back to goal now on the edge of the area, and they've dispossessed him. But there was the first groan of the afternoon from the Manchester United crowd, because Pinnock just stepped forward out of defence quite easily in front of Højlund. Now, ball sent forward by Fernandes. Flecken is out of his goal, and all in blue clears it out of play for a throw. So, 16 minutes played, 0-0. We're going to go racing now. It's Ascot, it's Champions Day, and John Hunt.
And it's the QE2 stakes here, and we're entering the closing stages. Ian Henry Longfellow with the advantage, with Prague on the outside. The favourite, Sharin. It could be his last run in Britain. Sharin, retirement beckons. He is absolutely cantering. Sharin hits the front. Tamfana is now going out after him. For France as well, Factor Cheval, who was runner-up in this race 12 months ago, is attacking with venom now down the outside of Sharin. And all of a sudden, Sharin's got to go to work. It's the finish of the day. Sharin together with Factor Cheval, separated by a neck, now half a length, as Sharin fights back in the gamest possible style. Sharin goes on, sails off into retirement, and caps what's been a brilliant career with a QE2 win. Factor Cheval was second, Tamfana third, then Dancing Gemini, and the rest headed by Metropolitan. Prague finished well beaten, so too Poker Face. Sharin then, such a gutsy win. He's been winning all season now, and Ian picks up another big one at Ascot.
Brilliant, thank you, John. More racing to come. The next race at Ascot is at around 5 to 4 at Ascot on Champions Day. 0-0 here at Old Trafford. Hearts lead St Mirren by a goal to 0 in the Scottish Premiership, as Damsgaard, with a ball that curls away from Lewis Potter, he'll do to retrieve that, and indeed he didn't, as he slides off the playing surface. Was always arcing away from him in the sunshine, and Manchester United unable to take the throw quickly. There's been another goal at Queen's Park Rangers, Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, and it's an equaliser for the away side. 1-1 is the score now. Freddie Potts, the man who's joined on loan from West Ham United, smashing the ball through a crowd of QPR defenders after a wonderful run from Callum Lang. It's 1-1 in the sunshine here at QPR.
St Johnstone 1, Ross County 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Manchester United attack, Dalot with the cross, turn behind. It was a rather awkward one, with his upper body going one way, and in the end he hooked it, did Christopher Ayer, the former Celtic man, right-footed behind into the Stretford end for a corner kick.
Yeah, he got it's one of his long limbs, his right leg stuck out there, and Manchester United have an opportunity from the corner now. Christian Eriksen, former Brentford player, over going to take it. Can they cause Brentford a problem or two?
Well, he places the ball down over on that far side, has a little look up at the same time does Eriksson. Now the left arm goes aloft, it's a right footer, it's deep to the edge of the area, over the head of De Ligt, comes out to Garnacho, lets it settle, onto his right foot, cuts inside, takes a bit of a deflection, loops in the air, header away by the Brentford defence. Damsgaard almost runs into trouble. No foul. Brentford were looking for a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area. Rashford now picks it up with menace, enters the penalty area, fires it in low, and turned behind at the near post for a corner. Another corner to Manchester United, 0-0.
Yeah, and it's good from Rashford. Direct play on the left-hand side, cross cut out. But I tell you what, Brian and Burmo there, had Damsgaard got the desired connection on his clearance, would have been one-on-one behind the United back line.
So Manchester United, having a corner just moments ago on that far side, the right, have one on this near side, the left, as they attack the Stretford end by the tunnel area, for those of you who know Old Trafford, as the clouds have all but disappeared. And it goes towards the near post, and gathered in by the goalkeeper, and he loses it, scramble inside the penalty area. Rashford heads it back once again, comes out towards Eriksson, fires it into the near post, and Pinnock this time on his heels, heads it away firmly.
It's actually Lisandro Martinez with the near post header. Flecken, I don't know what happened there, but it should have been an easy catch for the goalkeeper, who fumbled it, and then somehow Brentford scrambled the ball clear. Really poor goalkeeping. Hoyland actually gets a shoulder onto the ball, last ditch defending, and Brentford do just about enough, but poor goalkeeping.
Eriksson with the corner kick. Flecken under pressure punches the ball away, and Mbeumo now will try and run the ball clear. In fact, Flecken did ever so well, because after dropping it, as you say, to that challenge, he then managed to scoop it away right-handed.
Well, he recovered, but he's got to be catching the first header from Martinez. You could have caught that, Ian.
Well, I'm not too sure. Don't think clowns catch the ball very well, do they? Let's get an update from Fulham. Will Perry.
Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1. Cracking game, basketball, football at the Cottage. Tillemans played in Watkins on the left, and Leno was out well with a really big save to deny him, as Villa come again with Leon Bailey. Villa pressure at the moment, but it's still Fulham 1, Villa 1.
I certainly wouldn't able to have cleared it with my feet. My size 14 shoes. Ipswich Everton, an update as you find underway. Chris Coles.
6 minutes in, Ipswich 0, Everton 0. Ipswich should be ahead. Flowing move, eventually falling to Jack Clark, 7 yards out, oceans of space, leaning back, he fired it badly over. Ipswich 0, Everton 0, 6 minutes.
Still goalless here, so they were just underway at 3:15. We're approaching the midway point of the first half, and Manchester United, who've only led for an hour of Premier League football this season, only Ipswich and Crystal Palace have actually led in fewer games this season. But MK Dons, incidentally, are 2-0 up now at Morecambe in League 2. Morecambe 0, MK Dons 2. Goals as they go in around the country. Flecken, all in blue, has the ball at his feet. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, well, you talk about the lack of goals at Manchester United. That has been the issue this season, clearly, and they haven't really created too many opportunities. Had the scramble there, but Flecken, the Brentford goalkeeper, made a mess of the situation, really. That United, in that final third, don't create enough chances and haven't been clinical enough all season.
They've only scored 5. That's one fewer than Mbeumo's tally. Cambridge United 2, Wigan 0 is the latest score in League 1.
You think about that. I think that Southampton, the only team, well, are they not level now with Manchester United, the Saints?
Leading by a goal to 0. They're home to Leicester City. Header away from Collins, goes straight out of play. Thomas Frank with his khaki hooded top, very casual, the Dane. Still getting those instructions across. Here is Fernandez, back it goes to Martinez. Fernandez passes the ball to Johnny Evans. We'll nip to Ipswich, Chris Coles.
Another big chance, this one for Everton. Dominic Calvert-Lewin seizing on a short pass, clean through, was denied by a right foot of Muric. Ipswich 0, Everton 0.
Onana spreads play out towards that far side. Dalot high up the pitch, over the halfway line, heads it in field, comes to Eriksson, and now dinks it out towards Garnacho. Martinez will go on the overlap. Garnacho runs in field, passes the ball now to Martinez, whose low cross was easily cleared by Damsgaard. And then as that ball drops out of the air, Eriksson touches the ball back, and Johnny Evans runs back into Manchester United territory. So 24 minutes played.
Once again, just a real lack of quality from the cross there Martinez getting forward on that left-hand side. Good combination play with Garnacho, decent understanding. But the cross cleared by Damsgaard.
Casemiro dropping in between the two central defenders. Dalot is pushed very high up on that far side, the right. Here is De Ligt, right of that central defensive pairing. Bruno Fernandes now takes over as he runs over the halfway line, then comes to a standstill, passes the ball to Eriksen just outside the centre circle. Back to the Portuguese international. His diagonal forward ball reaches Rashford, who now passes it out to Dalot on that far side, level with the penalty area. Dundee United 1, Hibs 0 is the latest score of the Scottish Premiership. As the cross now comes in from Rashford into the penalty area. Hoyland with a sharp turn, didn't go with him. Casemiro keeps it alive, passes the ball to Garnacho, who fires it in at the left-hand post. And Flecken turns it behind with both hands for a corner kick, 0-0.
Yeah, we know he always likes to come inside, Garnacho. Onto that right foot and get a shot off, but gives Vandenberg plenty to think about. Shifts left, and it's a good contact. Left foot drive, smart goalkeeping in his near post from Flecken.
Something had to give at Celtic Park today, bearing in mind that Celtic and Aberdeen have both had 100% winning starts to the season, and Celtic are leading at home to Aberdeen. We'll bring you news of that goal when we can. But Celtic are 1-0 up as Manchester United have a corner on the left-hand side, 26 minutes played. Eriksen to take it, goes towards the far post, headed out by Mbeumo. Picked up by Rashford, keeps the ball in play on that right touchline. Rashford now on the inside, Johnny Evans towards the byline, and the cross is saved by Flecken. But before we go to Celtic, we'll get news of a penalty at Will Perry at Fulham.
Penalty to Fulham. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1. It's Andreas Pereira who's going to take it. It was Tete's cross. Jimenez's header struck the arm of Cash in an unnaturally wide position. Darren England went to the screen, said penalty, and now here is Andreas Pereira to put Fulham ahead at Craven Cottage. Here he comes. Pereira, can he beat Martinez? It's saved by the World Cup winner, and he celebrates in front of the Fulham fans. Martinez, of course he does. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1.
Thank you, Will. And as promised, Kenny Crawford at Celtic.
Yeah, Ian, Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0. Ryo Hatate, Japanese midfielder, third goal of the season. They caught Aberdeen on the counter-attack. Kyogo Furuhashi broke down the right, cut it back to Hatate, who's just inside the box. Left foot finish past Dimitar Mitov. Celtic 1, Aberdeen 0.
I mentioned that Crewe have got that strong home form where they've won their last 5. They've equalised now at Gresty Road. Crewe 1, Salford City 1. And there's now been a goal at Southampton. Lee Blakeman.
2-0 to Southampton. Another low cross from the left. This time put in by Joe Aribo to make it Southampton 2, Leicester 0.
Brentford are attacking. Left-hand side. Slows it down to Sharda. Colchester United 1, Cheltenham 1 is the latest score in League 2. Brentford with Janelt, left corner of the area. Back to Norgard, midway through the Manchester United half. He goes further back to Pinnock, but every outfield player is in the Manchester United half towards our right, and that ball is overhit. Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 1 is a latest scoreline. That's at the Riverside. Liam Manning, of course, has taken a period of absence after the sad news about his baby son Theo passing away. Chris Hogg is in charge for the time being, and our thoughts go to Liam Manning and his family, and likewise as well to the Bruce family as well, because Steve Bruce, the tragic passing of his grandson Madison, his Blackpool side have fallen behind. Blackpool 0, Barnsley 1. So Steve, Janet, Alex and everybody else, you're all in our thoughts as all the goals have gone in, are up to date here on BBC Radio 5 Live as we approach the half hour. Brentford with Damsgaard to Norgard. Sharda just comes away from De Ligt with his back to goal, just outside the D. Casemiro threw himself into the challenge with Norgard. They try and get the counter-attack. It was Bruno Fernandes who's been caught in the back there by Sharda. Manchester United want a stoppage in play, and the referee will oblige. 0-0, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, it's a really good challenge from Casemiro. Bruno Fernandes tried to take the ball on his chest and volley a ball through to Garnacho. He was caught in the process. Still down.
Another goal at Celtic, Kenny Crawford.
And another Japanese goal scorer, Ian. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. Kyogo Furuhashi's 5th goal of the season. This time Hatate's shot was blocked. It fell to the striker and he slammed it home from 10 yards. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Back to Bristol Saracens, James Burridge.
End-to-end rugby here. Bristol leading by 13 points to 7. 22 minutes gone. Toby Knight for Saracens scoring to the left of the post. Right back at it with Bristol. Harry Randalls racing down the left-hand touchline to dot it down. 13-7, 23 gone.
So nearly half an hour played here at Old Trafford. What would your assessment be so far, Chris Sutton? 0-0.
I think Manchester United are not offering enough in the final third. There's not that understanding between Garnacho and Højlund and Rashford and those combinations, and that's been the story of their season. Haven't carried a big enough threat. I think Brentford, pretty well balanced team, aren't they?
Well, they've just had that one scare so far, the away side, when Flecken spilt the ball as Vandenberg got himself in a bit of a tangle there. He nudged it away, helped out by Norgard, but Manchester United go and hunt the ball, pressing, trying to put the visitors under pressure, but they get it out towards Ayer on that far side, the left, and he carries it towards Lewis Potter, plays it on the inside to Ayer, who's continued that run. He's midway through the Manchester United half. He's running into a central area of the field now as Damsgaard takes over, and Damsgaard will curl it out towards Mbeumo on this near side. 31 minutes played, still 0-0 here on 5 Live and the World Service. Mbeumo to Norgard, turn from Norgard, gets the shot away, and Onana with a flying save. Full stretch away towards his right, turns it behind acrobatically for a corner kick.
Yeah, it's a good save, good strike from Norgard. Clever play from Mbeumo, little reverse pass inside to Norgard, who's 25 yards out, right hand side of the box. He's trying to bend it into that far top corner. He's not far off. Crucial save from Onana, fingertips round the post.
Danish international, not necessarily known for his goal-scoring prowess, but that was certainly a fine effort. 14 minutes to go to the break, and Brentford, they were practicing set pieces in the warm-up under the beady eye of Keith Andrews. Let's see what they can conjure up here with a corner on that far side, the left. Didn't beat the first man, cleared by Eriksson quite comfortably.
I mean, they're land of the giants, aren't they, Brentford? It's a really poor corner from Damsgaard. Eriksson in that near post space making the clearance.
They're waiting for Pinnock to trot over the far side to take the throw. We can quickly go to Newcastle. Masfarouki.
Still 0-0, but plenty of Newcastle pressure. A couple of chances for Isak. A corner just headed wide by Big Dan Burn as well, but nothing for them yet to show for it, Newcastle, despite being on top. Newcastle 0, Brighton 0.
Pinnock waiting to take the throw far side the left as Stevenage are leading Mansfield Town by a 0-0. Pinnock now launches it from that far side to try and meet it. Neither Norgard nor indeed Vandenberg were able to get there as the ball is headed back by Damsgaard to Collins and Mbeumo. Diagonal cross comes in from the right hand side into the penalty area, and then the little flick on by Vandenberg. Ball scooped up by the Manchester United goalkeeper Onana, but he hangs on to the ball and then he rolls it out towards Dalot, and Dalot now can turn and found Højlund, who passes the ball out towards that right side to Rashford. And then coming onto the ball very gently and slowly is Bruno Fernandes, who strokes it down that right touchline. And into the shadows of the Sir Alex Ferguson stand, Manchester United make slow progress. But now Bruno Fernandes will play it out towards the right for Rashford, who must be about 12 yards up from the byline on that far side. Edge of the area, little flick by Casemiro. First time shot by Eriksson, blocked. Comes out towards the right. Eriksson with another opportunity. Rashford then has a shot, and then eventually Brentford can get the ball clear through Sharda. Another goal, it's at Ipswich this time, Chris Coles.
Everton in front without an away win since December, but ahead at Portman Road. Iliman and Jai, bad mistake at the Ipswich defence, and Jai put it in the top corner. Ipswich 0, Everton 1, 18 minutes.
Now at McDermott Park in the Scottish Premiership, St Johnstone are leading Ross County by a 0-0, and Ross County are now down to 10 men as they trail. Port Vale lead Fleetwood by a 0-0 at Vale Park. And you're up to date with the goals as they go in. Port Vale, the League Two leaders, unbeaten in 8, although Charlie Adams Fleetwood went into that game undefeated in 7. Eriksson forward of the centre circle, runs forward now away from Sharda, threads the ball through. Højlund with a little flick. Casemiro was there. Eriksson running through, places the ball over. Not too sure whether it would have counted. The referee, I think, has given Brentford a free kick, but Eriksson wouldn't have known that. What a chance it was. He ballooned it over the crossbar.
I cannot believe he has missed that. Eriksson, 7-8 yards out. Could have just popped it in either corner. goes over the bar, but I think that there was a foul awarded for a tug on Collins from Casemiro. Didn't seem a lot in it. Eriksson misses anyway, to his embarrassment.
He only scored 1 goal in 11 appearances when he had that spell at Brentford. Manchester United 0, Brentford 0. There's now been a goal at St James's Park. Masfarouki.
Completely against the run of play in this match. Brighton, in one of their first real moves forward, down the other end of the pitch, have scored in front of their own fans. Danny Welbeck with the final touch. And Brighton lead here. Newcastle 0, Brighton 1.
Hoyland to Bruno Fernandes. Casemiro with a first-time shot, right-footed, took a deflection behind for a corner. We'll get news of that goal at Vale Park now. Nesta McGregor.
Yeah, Port Vale 1, Fleetwood Town 0. Nothing less than the home side deserve. A defensive error, a misplaced pass meant that Vale were outnumbering their opponents. Jaden Stockley had the ball to his feet, could have shot, still it in the path of Rico Richards, who just slotted home. Port Vale unbeaten in 8, and that run is continuing at the moment. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood Town 0.
Eriksson waits to take the corner kick. Still 0-0 at Old Trafford, which is now the only goalless game in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the top flight this afternoon. Eriksson then far side the right, headed out by Norgard, drops to Bruno Fernandes, who hits it on the volley. That would have had to have been some spectacular effort to beat Flecken through the amount of bodies that were inside the penalty area. And it was off target, goal kick, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, very ambitious. The corner wasn't the best from Eriksson. Norgard dealt with it in that near post space area, headed it out, and Fernandes taking it first time, but high and wide. There are just signs for Manchester United. Nice flick from Casemiro earlier, led to Eriksson with the block shot.
Janelt, forward ball. Schade will just drop away from De Ligt to pass it out towards Lewis Potter, who can run forward now on that far side, the left corner of the area. Down the side of the box he goes, and then De Ligt got something on it, and Bruno Fernandes helps him out, and the ball is passed forward by Dalot. Turned by Hoyland, midway through his own half. Squeezes the ball out towards Rashford. The referee Sam Barrett has played the advantage. Is now Manchester United. Switch play to Garnacho. Garnacho in the penalty area, left-footed off target. Inside left channel of the box. Fires it into the Stretford end. Huddersfield Town 1, Bristol Rovers 0 is the latest score. Fleetwood have equalised at Port Vale. It's now 1-1. And I think we can get an update in the Rugby Union. Bristol Saracens, James Burridge.
And Saracens have taken the lead, 14 points to 13. Half an hour gone. Rotimi Shagan in bags of space down the left wing with Gabi Otoye, the opposing player for Bristol, in the sin bin for 10 minutes. Saracens taking and reaping the rewards. They lead by 14 points to 13.
Goal at Hillsborough now, Sani Rudravajala.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 1. Wednesday looking bright, but it's Jaden Anthony who's put Burnley ahead. A mistake at the back. Anthony through on goal, cool finish. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 1.
Burnley went into that game unbeaten in 6. Casemiro passes the ball back to Johnny Evans. We've got about 7.5 minutes to go to half time. As here is Evans just outside the centre circle, and he goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Onana. News of the Fleetwood equaliser then, Nesta McGregor.
Yeah, they say you're most vulnerable when you've just scored, and 3 minutes after taking the lead it's 1-1. Carl Johnston, the equaliser for Fleetwood Town. Good build-up play down the left-hand side and a low shot, unstoppable. The score is Port Vale 1, Fleetwood Town 1.
7 minutes to go to the break. Eriksson back to Onana. The goalkeeper in his purple goalkeeping outfit invited Janelt to close him down and then passed it to Johnny Evans, who cleared it away. Collins has just beaten Fernandes in the air. Back it goes to Evans.
It's been a better spell though the last 5 or 10 minutes for Manchester United. That half chance for Garnacho. What a crossfield ball that was from Marcus Rashford to create the opportunity, but Garnacho off target.
Good refereeing too from Sam Barrett with playing the advantage. He hasn't been exactly shy in being with his cards this season. 32 yellows he's brandished in 5 games in the Premier League. Sam Barrett.
He obviously thought they were all deserved here.
Here is De Ligt walking his way into the Brentford half, passing it out towards Rashford. Bradford City have equalised at home to Gillingham. Harrogate Town are leading at Carlisle. Carlisle 0, Harrogate Town 1. And you're up to date with the goals as they go in. Where will we go next on 5 Live, I wonder? It's to Will Perry at Craven Cottage.
Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1. Still end-to-end this one. Anderson with a header over the bar from a Fulham corner, and Rodgers scrambling an effort just wide for the visitors. Fulham 1, Villa 1.
Well, here we had a situation where Nathan Collins has gone to ground. Manchester United passed the ball to Højlund, and all of a sudden a massive gap appears in a hole in the Brentford defence, and Højlund shoots off target right-footed.
Well, the Brentford players are furious surrounding the referee. There's a coming together, Højlund and Nathan Collins. Højlund stands on Nathan Collins' foot. Nathan Collins goes to ground, and the next second the ball's fizzed into Højlund, who takes a touch and fires it wide of the far post. I think the goal would have stood, actually. Brentford would have been furious. They felt Collins was fouled, but the foul wasn't given.
Huddersfield Town 2, Bristol Rovers 0 is the latest score in League One. Still goalless. Sharda climbs, heads the ball on, nobody running in behind. He looks to Mbumo, but Mbumo was a good 15 yards away from Sharda at the time. Manchester United play out from the back, ball along the ground. Eriksson has got space to run into far side the right. 5 minutes to go to the break. Now to Casemiro just outside the centre circle, and Manchester United have every player in that red shirt and the red shirts in the half away towards our left-hand side. But Brentford have got everybody back behind the ball.
And hence Manchester United have to move the ball a lot quicker. Too many touches on the ball, and Brentford, their positioning, shuffle across and block those passing lanes off.
Here is De Ligt, as Dalot actually comes on the inside of the central defender. Nice turn again by Højlund. Out it goes then towards Garnacho, and Garnacho with a shot. Flecken's lost it, and it's turned behind by Pinnock for a corner kick. Must have moved in the air for Flecken to struggle the way that he did. Corner kick to Manchester United.
I think it took a deflection. Brilliant from Højlund. Gets away from Collins, clever turn, and then he fizzes the ball out to Garnacho, who's driven the outside the last couple of times against Vandenberg and got a shot off with his left foot. Sets him up, comes on the inside. There is a slight deflection. Vandenberg actually gets a touch on it. Flecken, good save down to his right.
Eriksson with a corner kick, headed out not once but twice. First by Pinnock on the edge of the area, then by Damsgaard, but retrieved by Fernandes. Evans passes the ball back. You can hear the groans then from the Manchester United faithful as the ball is driven downfield by Fernandes. Right corner of the penalty area. Garnacho comes inside, left-footed shoots. Blocked by Vandenberg. Up in the air it goes. Eriksson tries to head it on. Garnacho will stab the ball back. He might have been caught in the process. Referee though lets the game go on. Fernandes looking for a sight of goal and then stumbles and then gives it away to Janelt, and the counter-attack is on here. And Mbumo, if he can play in Sharda, and he looks for Sharda, but Dalot will cut it out. The goalkeeper had come away off his goal line, and Dalot clears the ball away. Motherwell 0, Dundee 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and it's livening up here late on in the first half. 0-0, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, a couple of challenges on Manchester United players. Casemiro then hacked over by Lewis Potter. Got to say, Dalot did brilliantly in that 1v1 situation with Sharda. Sharda put the burners on, Dalot read it and took control of the situation.
After Sports Report with Mark Chapman at 5 o'clock, where you'll get the results and the reaction as much as we can with the live reaction before our next commentary at 5:30. Bournemouth against Arsenal, and then Chris Sutton with Robbie Savage. 0808 5909 and 693 to give your calls to 606 on the conclusion of that game on the South Coast. Talking of which, we'll go to the South Coast now. Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 2, Leicester 0. Leicester should have one back though. El Khanouzi just picked up the ball left side of the area, 16 yards out, tried the curler and it came back off the inside of the post. Southampton 2, Leicester 0.
2 minutes to go to the break here, and Norgard might have well talked himself into the referee's book here, because he was walking away and the referee then has just summoned Norgard back towards him, and it looks like a final warning before he lands himself in a bit of bother, but it's a stern talking to.
Yeah, I think he's saying to the referee there was no foul on Casemiro. Casemiro taking a tumble there.
Eriksson waits to take the free kick. 90 seconds of normal time remaining in this first half. The only goalless game in the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League this afternoon. As Mbumo closes down Onana, passes the ball to Johnny Evans. Casemiro will go back. There will, of course, be lengthy stoppage time due to that head injury to De Ligt. As Carlisle United have equalised at home to Harrogate Town, 1-1, and Morecambe have got a goal back, also in League 2. Morecambe 1, MK Dons 2. Move breaks down for Manchester United. Collins is able to step forward out of defence. Now it's with Damsgaard, forward of the centre circle. Lewis Potter is in space on that far side, the left, and they find him. Lewis Potter back inside to Damsgaard, scoops it forward, cleared away by a dangling leg by Darlow. Norgard tries to take it into his stride. Evans then stepping out of defence, runs it clear, but then gives it away. Collins will retrieve it for Brentford, passes the ball forward. Norgard. This is Brentford, who've lost their last 7 games at Old Trafford. Their last victory back in 1937 in the old First Division, with 2 goals from Bobby Reid, another from Billy Scott, for Harry Curtis as the manager, as they won by 3-1 as Damsgaard weaves his way forward, sends over the cross. Dallow though beats Lewis Potter in the air, headed out towards that far side. Rashford keeps the ball in play but hands it straight back to Brentford as a result, and Pinnock now with a cross. It's a deep one. Sharda misdirects his header well off target. 0-0.
He got up well though, got up early against Johnny Evans. Diagonal ball into the box, trying to head that back into the far corner, but well wide. Just looking at De Ligt here, his head injury, there is blood pouring out of his head. I think the referee saying you're going to have to go off here.
Well, as a result of that head injury, we've got 4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into, as there's now been a goal at Stoke City in the Championship. Pat Murphy.
It's gone to Norwich City and it's been coming. Stoke couldn't really clear. A concerted effort there, the ball pinging around, free to Stringnack, powerful left foot shot, 15 yards. Stoke 0, Norwich 1.
The latest in that delayed game from Portman Road. Chris Coles.
Still Ipswich 0, Everton 1, but Ipswich have been denied a penalty. It was given by Michael Oliver. McNeil felling the twinkle-toed Clark. It did look soft. Michael Oliver sent to the screen and he overturned his original decision. Still Ipswich 0, Everton 1.
So De Ligt is still off the field of play and being patched up. As you say, it wasn't exactly a trickle of blood either, was it?
That would have been, of course, from that early head injury where he actually caught Kevin Sharda's knee, gave away a free kick, and Casemiro just dropping into that centre-back position.
They've reached half-time at St James's Park. Brighton and Hove Albion are leading at Newcastle by 1-0. We're going around the grounds at half-time with Mark Chapman on 5 Live and Lee James on the World Service, as Damsgaard, his cross blocks. Evans hits it into the air for Manchester United. Norgard heads it forward and Bumo loses out to Evans. Damsgaard tries to win it back and then he's wrestled to the floor by Martinez, but in fact they'll just give the throw rather than the free kick. De Ligt wants to come back onto the field of play.
Ridiculous challenge from Martinez.
Lewis Potter, far side. Stoppage time here at Old Trafford. Norgard, back then to Pinnock, forward of the centre circle. Collins along the ground with pace, hits it into the feet of Vandenberg. Hibs have equalised at Tannadice, incidentally. Dundee United 1, Hibs 1, Colchester 1, Cheltenham 2 is the latest score in League 2, and Bristol City have got a second goal at Middlesbrough. They lead by 2-0. Damsgaard to Collins. Brentford again committing men into the Manchester United half. St Johnstone 2, the 10 men of Ross County 0. Damsgaard makes a run in towards the penalty area. Peters out for a goal kick. Back to Will Perry at Fulham.
Fulham 1, Villa 1. Rodgers should have his second for Villa. Cross from Watkins from the left. Rodgers unmarked, 12 yards out. The side footer well wide. It was a sitter. Fulham 1, Villa 1.
So into stoppage time we go here. We're into the last 60 seconds of the minimum of 4. What would your first half analysis be?
I think it's a pretty even game, isn't it? I think that Manchester United have felt the way into the game. Brentford had the better of the early exchanges, but it's a pretty average game, average performance from Manchester United, and I think everybody expects more.
Bradford City have come from behind. They now lead Gillingham by 2-1 in League 2. Onana hits the ball midway through his own half, right down the middle, comes off the left leg of Vandenberg. Pinnock then sweeps it away, long and out to safety for a throw. But this first half is just meandering now, with neither side posing much of a threat in the 4 minutes of added on time. As Manchester United give the ball away. Sharda now tries to run against De Ligt. pushes the ball past him and latches onto it. De Ligt has to recover. Schade away on that left-hand side. De Ligt gets the block in, and Brentford, in the last dying embers of this first half, get a corner kick far side to left.
What acceleration from Schade, left-hand channel. De Ligt standing off him 3 yards. He just pushes it past him, and De Ligt, to his credit, got back, made a challenge. But can Brentford cause Manchester United a problem or two from a set piece?
Well, again, he's been told to leave the field of play because the blood is so evident on his head. And so for this set piece, De Ligt has been told by referee Sam Burrett, you're going to have to go off the field of play to get patched up yet again. This will be the last bit of action.
Well, this puts Manchester United at a huge disadvantage. It's all about the ball from Damsgaard. His last corner wasn't great.
Can Brentford, from a set piece, make this count? Damsgaard far side to left. Yes, they can, because Pinnock with the header latches onto it. Manchester United down to 10 with De Ligt off the field of play, and Brentford took full advantage. And Pinnock with the opening goal. They lead Manchester United by a goal to nil. Manchester United are livid.
Yeah, Ruud van Nistelrooy and Erik ten Hag having a word with the fourth official. Manchester United can moan as much as they like. I think it's a head injury. There's blood pouring out of his head. It's right to go off. Take nothing away from the goal. It was a brilliant header from Pinnock. The ball whizzed in, right-footed. Pinnock gets up on the 6-yard line and powers the header in. I think Casemiro should do better. Doesn't read the flight of the ball very well at all. Gets caught under it, but Pinnock gets a free run, runs off Dalot, and the header, bang, powered in. Superb header. Manchester United only have themselves to blame. Weak defending from Dalot and Casemiro, and here comes a card for Erik ten Hag.
Erik ten Hag has just been booked. He was protesting furiously to the fourth official, Gavin Ward, and in fact Ruud van Nistelrooy is also shown a yellow card. Such has been the anger of the Manchester United bench with that decision. De Ligt is back on the field of play, but the blood was evident.
Yeah, and
there's a protocol in place, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. The blood was pouring out of De Ligt's head. Everybody knows that the player has to come off. The referee quite right. Erik ten Hag should be angrier with Darlow and Casemiro about the way they defended that corner.
Well, Manchester United, who haven't lost 3 successive home league games since the days of Dave Sexton back in February 1979, find themselves in familiar territory. In the corresponding fixture last season, they were trailing by a goal to nil against Brentford until McTominay popped up with those 2 goals in stoppage time in the 93rd and 97th minute. And now Manchester United, with a bee in their bonnet against Brentford, are attacking that Bees back line, but instead the referee will blow the whistle. There are boos from the home crowd. More about that controversial moment, but Brentford will be delighted. They lead by a goal to nil. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and of course that'll be where the controversy will be about Brentford, the nature of the goal, the brilliant header which it was, but Manchester United unhappy that they were disadvantaged. They felt De Ligt was asked to leave the field because of blood pouring out of his head. They didn't defend it well enough. Dalot and Casemiro, I think, switched off, and ten Hag, he's got work to do. His team have work to do. They haven't combined well enough in the final third. We heard boos ring around the ground. Huge second half, Erik ten Hag and Manchester United.
It certainly is. Stoke 1, Norwich 1 is the latest score in the Championship, but half-time here at Old Trafford, Manchester United 0, Brentford 1.
Details of the Stoke goal from Pat Murphy.
Magnificent goal from Milan Manhoff. He loves to cut in from the right with his left foot. Norwich knew all about that, but there he was, he did it, and beautifully. Stoke 1, Norwich 1.
So in the Premier League, home side are behind at Old Trafford, the home side are behind at St James's Park as well. Maz Faruqi.
Yeah, and the Newcastle fans will feel sick to their stomachs if this scoreline stays as it is. They had so many chances at 0-0 Newcastle, 3 good ones for Alexander Isak alone, but given how little football he's played recently. Perhaps unsurprising that he looks a little rusty. Dan Burn headed a corner just wide as well, but then in one of maybe 3 opportunities or half they had going forward, Brighton made it count. Danny Welbeck full of confidence and taking the shot on very well to leave St James's Park very frustrated here at half-time. Newcastle 0, Brighton 1.
Would imagine they're frustrated at the Cottage as well. Will Perry.
Yeah, Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1. Electric start. Fulham ahead after Jimenez latched on to the end of Leno's long punt, out-muscled Pau Torres and finished low off the inside of the post. Less than 4 minutes later, Rodgers levelled for Villa, a horrible Bassi deflection, nothing that Leno could do, and then a wondering cash arm in the box. Pereira wasted the chance to give Fulham the lead with an awful penalty saved by Martinez. Superb game though, Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1.
But the best half-time cuppa that the Southampton fans will have had in a long time, I would have thought. Lee Blakeman.
Absolutely. Southampton 2, Leicester 0. Russell Martin's team have been absolutely excellent. 1 up after 8 minutes. Archer on the end of a low manning cross. They were 2 up 20 minutes later. Walker-Peters with a low ball in this time. Joe Aribo got on the end of that one. Aribo earlier headed against the bar. Leicester hit the post through El Canouse at the end of the half, but that's the best they've managed. Southampton 2, Leicester 0.
3:15 kick-off at Portman Road this afternoon, so they're still playing. Chris Coles.
5 minutes until half-time. Ipswich 0, Everton 1. The goal from Illiman and Jai. Costly mistake from Wes Burns. His miss kick and Jai rattling into the top corner. Ipswich have had a penalty overturned by VAR. McNeil on Clark. Referee Michael Oliver advised to have a second look on the screen. He did and reversed his original penalty decision. The Premier League Match Centre clarifying the decision was overturned because Clark kicked the back of McNeil's leg. Ipswich 0, Everton 1.
Earlier in the Premier League, Tottenham 4, West Ham 1, and West Ham had taken the lead at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll do all the other half-times in the EFL and in the Scottish Premiership, where, remember, the top 2 meet today, and Celtic lead Aberdeen 2-0 at half-time. Details of all of that to come after the big race at Ascot. John Hunt.
The Champions Stakes reaches the final 5 furlongs. The field taken along by the former St Ledger winner, Continuous. The Arc third. Next, Los Angeles poised in second place. Tracking them is Royal Rhyme, one of the outsiders. Another big prize runner, King's Gambit, and Anmat behind those. Then the big guns together. Economics alongside Calandagan. Calandagan right up the inside running rail. Economics out wider. They're being tracked by See the Fire. Turning into the straight now. Persica comes next. Nashwa's right at the back of the field. So is Iracine. Economics is one of the first ones under pressure. Continuous leads. Persica making a move on the outside. Calandagan, the French horse, can't get out. He's stuck in behind a wall of horses. There's big trouble. Los Angeles suffered badly and now bursting through. Royal Rhyme's got a chance, but Economics looks as though he's up for it. Now there's room for Calandagan, Persica and See the Fire. What a thrilling finish. Calandagan, Royal Rhyme, and on the outside of those, Anmat bursting through. He'll be the final challenger and the most devastating one as well. Anmat get up to win the Champions Stakes. Beats Calandagan, Iracine next, followed by Royal Rhyme. Weakening out of it was Economics. He's eventually finished 6th or 7th. My word, what a rough race. My word, what a rapidly changing race. The big race of the day, Champions Stakes, goes to outsider Anmat, trained by Owen Burrows and ridden by the former champion Jim Crowley, who passes us now, punching the air with joy.
Reactions come from Ascot during Sports Report with John Hunt, and whilst that race reached its conclusion, Everton increased their lead. Chris.
Quite spectacularly so. Michael Keane firing into the roof of the net from 6 yards out. An unlikely goal scorer, but a fine finish. Everton lead by 2-0. They haven't won away from home in 15 matches. They're on course to end that barren run this afternoon. Ipswich 0, Everton 2.
4 early games in the Championship today. Cardiff 5, 10-man Plymouth 0. Luton 3, Watford 0. Late equaliser for Oxford at home to West Brom. It ended 1-1, and Preston beat Coventry by a goal to 0. Mark Robins' side have lost 5 of their last 6 in all competitions. To the 3 o'clock games, Burnley could go top this afternoon and they lead at the break. Sani.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 1. Wednesday starting 11 places behind Burnley, but the brighter throughout. For all their efforts, though, it was at the back where they've come unstuck. Defender Jan Valery gifting the ball to Jayden Anthony. The Bournemouth loanee finishing coolly for his first of the season. Burnley have dominated possession and can control things now. And as you said, if they do, they'll go top. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 1.
Stoke 1, Norwich 1. Pat Murphy.
Norwich a better side. 2 superb saves in 3 minutes from Johansson in the Stoke goal. Then just before half-time, the Croatian Strinak lashed in Norwich's goal before Manhurst equalised for Stoke. A sublime dink with his left foot. Stoke 1, Norwich 1.
Blackburn decent at home, Swansea not great away. So, Julia Bald?
Yeah, it's Blackburn 1, Swansea 0. There was a row, though, over who actually scored it. Tyrese Dolan was credited with it here in the stadium by everyone, including the announcer. Maktar Gay insisted it was his, though. It gives you an idea of what the scramble was like in the box. It came from a corner. Dolan shot down into the net. It may have flicked off Gay on the way in. John Eustace doesn't care. The 100% record still intact at home. Swansea keeping possession well. They just can't do a lot with it. It's Blackburn 1, Swansea 0.
All square between the bottom two at the break. Rich Wolfenden.
QPR 1, Portsmouth 1. The home side took the lead early doors thanks to an audacious chip from Karamoko Dembele as his weighted effort looped over Nicholas Schmidt, who cheaply gave it away in the first place. But Portsmouth, they equalised not too long after. West Ham loanee Freddie Potts grabbing his first goal for Pompey after a wonderful run from the returning Callum Lang. In the spell at the bottom, the score at half-time is QPR 1, Portsmouth 1.
Elsewhere in the Championship, Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 2. Anis Mehmeti and Yu Hirakawa with the goals for Bristol City this afternoon. Goalless between Millwall and Derby in the other game in the Championship. In League One earlier, Reading beat Crawley by 4-1. Wickham 3. Peterborough 1, a Richard Kone hat-trick in 9 minutes in the second half, giving Wickham the win. He's got 8 for the season. Peterborough down to 10 in the second half as well. In the 3 o'clock games, Blackpool 0, Barnsley, who haven't won in their last 4, won. Davis Keeler done with that goal for Darrell Clark's side. It's goalless between Bolton and Burton. Cambridge have had probably their best first half of the season. They're yet to win in any competition this season, but they lead Wigan by 2-0 at the break. At the Valley, Charlton 0, Stockport 1. Louis Barry again with the goal, 7 for the season for him. He's on loan from Aston Villa. That one came from the penalty spot. Huddersfield lead Bristol Rovers by 2-0. Lincoln in 4th, Birmingham the leaders, and that's 1-1 at the break. Mansfield, who've won their last 5 in the league, trail at half-time. They're a goal down at home to Stevenage. It's Northampton 0, Leyton Orient 0, and an early Paul Mullin goal gives Wrexham a 1-0 lead at Rotherham at the break. In League 2, full-time, the early game, Accrington beat Barrow by 1-0. We're with the leaders, Port Vale at home to Fleetwood. Nesta?
At the break, it's Port Vale 1, Fleetwood at Town 1. This game is why we love football. The home side hit the post and the bar before taking the lead through Rico Richards on load from Aston Villa. This place was buzzing, but 3 minutes later, Fleetwood Town were level. Carl Johnston from close range, and since then, it's been the away side bopping it about like prime-time Barcelona. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood Town 1.
Really?
I promise you, absolutely a game of... I don't want to use the cliche game of two halves.
No, I don't. But prime-time Barcelona?
Yeah, but I didn't state it was the real Barcelona. It's just a team who supports Barcelona, so names themselves after that team.
Nesta, thank you. Right, Bradford 2, Gillingham 1. Gillingham took the lead. Jaden Clark's 4th of the season, but Bradford have hit back. Neil Byrne and Jack Shepherd, and at the moment, Gillingham are on course for their 4th straight defeat. Goalless between Bromley and Tranmere. Carlisle 1, Harrogate 1. Colchester 1, Cheltenham 2. Jordan Thomas has got both for Cheltenham this afternoon. Lyle Taylor's 4th of the season for Danny Cowley's side. Crewe 1, Salford 1. Goalless between Grimsby and Walsall. Morecambe 1, MK Dons 2. Notts County 0, AFC Wimbledon 0. And it's also goalless between Swindon and second in the table, Doncaster. In the National League, Aldershot 0, Eastleigh 0. Altrincham 1, Gateshead 2. Boston 0, Halifax 1. Dagenham and Redbridge 1, AFC Fylde 0, Forest Green Rovers 1, Braintree 1, Maidenhead 1, Hartlepool 0, Solihull Moors 2, Barnet 1, Sutton 0, Oldham 1, Tamworth 2, Woking 0, Wealdstone 0, Yeovil 1, and York lead bottom of the table, Ebbsfleet by 1-0. In the Women's Super League earlier, Brighton 1, Manchester United 1 was how it finished. Grace Clinton giving the United the lead, Brighton equalising through a former United player in Nikita Paris. Into the Scottish Premiership, the top 2 meeting at Celtic Park. Kenny.
Half-time Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0. The defending champions stamping their authority on a match against their closest challengers as things stand. 2 quick-fire goals midway through the first half, both scored by Japan internationals. Ryo Hatate swept in his 3rd of the season from just inside the box in 24 minutes before Kyogo Furuhashi reacted quickest to a loose ball to score his 5th of the campaign 3 minutes later. Aberdeen's 13-game winning run on course to stop here. Half-time Celtic 2, Aberdeen 0.
Dundee United 1, Hibs 1, Hearts 1, 1, St Mirren 0, Motherwell 0, Dundee 1 and St Johnstone 2, 10-man Ross County 0. In the Scottish Championship, Ayr 1, Livingston 2, Dunfermline 0, Morton 0, Partick lead Airdrieonians by a goal to 0, and it's Wraith 1, Queen's Park 0. In League 1, Arbroath 1, Dumbarton 1, Cove Rangers 1, Queen of the South 0, Inverness 1, Annan 0 and Kelty Hearts 0, Montrose 0. In League 2, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Edinburgh City 0. Disappointingly, it's Forfar 0, East Fife 0. Spartans 1, Elgin 1, Stirling 1, Clyde 1 and Stranraer 0, Peterhead 0. Into the Gallagher Premiership, Bristol Saracens, the only game going on at the moment. This is the top two and it is tight, James Burridge.
This game is absolutely bonkers, Mark. It was 2017 to Bristol at half-time. Fitzharding has just got a hat-trick. We've only just started the second half. End-to-end rugby. Bristol are playing at a phenomenal pace. They edged it 3 tries to 2 in the first half. Harry Randall rounding off an absolutely fantastic try when he burst down the left-hand side. The tackling from Saracens, even though they've conceded a bonus point, their defence has been pretty impressive. Elliot Daly stopped a try just before half-time. But as I speak to you now, AJ McGinty is just lining up the conversion, but Bristol starting the second half with plenty of intent. They lead 25 points to 17 with the kick to come.
Second half from Old Trafford on the way, where Brentford lead by a goal to 0 after Joe Critcher in the news at 4:05.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds. Sources at the Department for Business and Trade have told the BBC officials are considering handing ownership of the post office to thousands of sub-postmasters across Britain. The post office currently operates as a government-owned company after it was separated from Royal Mail. Liam Payne's sister says she doesn't feel this world was good enough or kind enough to him. The 31-year-old died on Wednesday after falling from a hotel balcony in Argentina. Ruth Gibbons posted on Instagram her brother's ability to make her laugh was what she loved most about him. The Israeli military has carried out airstrikes on targets in the southern suburbs of Beirut after the Prime Minister's home was targeted in a drone strike from Lebanon. Benjamin Netanyahu was not there at the time. Earlier, Israeli strikes are reported to have killed dozens of Palestinians in northern Gaza. And a weather bomb from Storm Ashley is due to sweep across Scotland this weekend, bringing strong winds and rain. It happens when there's a rapid drop of pressure as the storm moves in from the Atlantic. There are warnings of possible power cuts, travel disruption and damage to buildings.
On BBC iPlayer, we all know the familiar faces of our solar system, but our neighbourhood is far stranger than we ever imagined. We've glimpsed lightning storms that rage across Jupiter, ice mountains that tower over Pluto's surface, and giant dust devils on Mars. Thanks to a fleet of spacecraft, these wonders are visible to us as never before in astonishing new detail. Solar System with me, Professor Brian Cox. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Early goal in the second half in the Championship, and it's come at Hillsborough. Sonny Rajavajula.
And it's gone to the away side. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 2. Wednesday again starting the second half brightly but losing possession. Zian Fleming through on goal. His shot was cleared off the line and Josh Brownhill has smothered in the rebound. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 2.
Northampton have just taken the lead in League One at home to Leyton Orient. Cameron McGeehan has got that 4 for the season for him. They've lost their last 3 of Northampton, so a much needed goal for them. Half-time whistle has gone at Portman Road. Chris Coles.
Ipswich 0, Everton 2. A very good half for Everton. 2 excellent finishes for their goals. One from Illiman and Jai into the top corner. The other from Michael Keane, crashing it into the roof of the net. Ipswich will feel aggrieved they didn't get a penalty, which was given and then overturned with the score at 0-1. Ipswich 0, Everton 2.
Let's go back to Old Trafford. Brentford lead Manchester United by a goal to 0. Chris Sutton and Ian Dennis.
Well, what a 45 minutes lies ahead for Erik ten Hag, who had said only yesterday that there are certain sections of the media creating stories, fairy tales and bringing lies. We're one page at the club, internally it's quiet. I wonder if that remains the case if the scoreline stays the same and Brentford can hold on to what would be a famous win, their first win at Old Trafford in 87 years. Neither side has made a change at half-time. Onana in goal for Manchester United, Dalot, Evans, De Ligt and Martinez, the back four. You've got Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes, Garnacho, Højlund and Rashford. Red shirts, white shorts in the second half under the almost clear blue skies, playing from left to right against a Brentford side in their change strip. The pink tops and the maroon shorts. Flecken in goal, who's yet to keep a clean sheet this season, incidentally. Vandenberg, Pinnock, Collins and Ayer, Norgard, Janelt and Damsgaard, Schade and Mbeumo, Lewis Potter. As Hearts lead St Mirren by 2-0 and Morecambe 1, MK Dons 3 is the latest score in League 2. So you're up to date. The usual Saturday goal service will take you here, there, but we'll also focus at our base at Old Trafford, where Manchester United got to come from behind, and Højlund, nice little interchange. Højlund into the penalty area. Pinnock, the goal scorer, though, goes to ground, and then, whilst he's lying on the floor, is able to clear the ball away and hook it to safety.
Højlund went back the way into Pinnock, should have got his shot off.
Rashford now with the cross. Garnacho! Brilliant finish by Garnacho! What a start to the second half for Manchester United. He met that on the full, gave the goalkeeper no chance, and Manchester United, within 2 minutes of the restart, are back level. Manchester United 1, Brentford 1.
Winger to winger, wonderful ball from Marcus Rashford, fed in to the far post, and Garnacho meets it on the volley, crashes the ball past Flecken into the far top corner. It's a wonderful finish. Rashford time and space to get his head up. There's a yard onside. Garnacho has to concentrate on the connection, and it's a cushion volley, powered into the far top corner, angle against him. Wonderful finish, wonderful connection. United responding in the right way.
You say the angle is against him, that makes the technique and the execution superb, because that diagonal cross, he's the left-hand side of the penalty area, but he hits it with his right foot as he's in on goal again here. Garnacho lifts it into the penalty area, aimed towards Højlund, and Pinnock has to hold off Højlund, who whips up the crowd. 1-1, 5 live.
Yeah, that's the way to start the second half. Get the crowd behind you, bit of momentum. Manchester United pinning Brentford back.
Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1, so Aberdeen have a goal back at Parkhead as Manchester United with that early equaliser here into the second half. In fact, a number of the Brentford delegation still making their way into the right side of the director's box, which we're sat next to, would have missed that Manchester United equaliser. Our featured game in League 1 is at Sincil Bank, and there's been a goal. Shojo Saka.
The leaders, Birmingham, have hit the front. Lincoln 1, Birmingham 2. Willemsen with a shot from the edge of the box, a lovely spin and a left-footed shot into the corner. Lincoln 1, Birmingham 2.
Manchester United buoyed by that equaliser, attacking with Garnacho. He links with Bruno Fernandes and then overhits it, and Flecken, who's now sporting a cap, is able to get the ball away. Huddersfield Town 3, Bristol Rovers 0 is the latest score from West Yorkshire in League 1. You can hear in Old Trafford now in full voice as Casemiro, poor first touch, allows Norgard to win the 50-50, and Mbeumo towards Schade. There's a man free if they could get it to Lewis Potter on this near side, but instead it'll be Johnny Evans just to calm things down at the back. And let's get news of that Aberdeen goal from Kenny Crawford.
51 minutes gone, Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1, and it's Ester Sokla, the Slovenian forward, brought on as a substitute at half-time, ran on to Jamie McGrath's through ball and coolly slotted it past Kasper Schmeichel into the bottom left-hand corner. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 1.
1-1. That should, here at Old Trafford, steady any chance of the apprehension from that half-time scoreline growing and increasing.
Yeah, I think that early goal absolutely crucial for Manchester United. You can hear the fans getting up and behind the team. And they've started sharply. You just wonder, where was this intensity at times in the first half? Why not start a game like this?
Norgard just with a foul on Højlund. He must be close to getting a yellow card. Indeed, the referee's just had a word with him as he walks past the Danish midfielder. Evans at the heart of the Manchester United defence. Martinez playing at left back to the Ulsterman. Evans now in his second spell at the club. De Ligt forward ball. Dalot lays it off. Rashford digs it out. Manchester United passing the ball a little bit quicker, it would seem, in this second period too. But then they go all the way back to Onana, who chips it out towards Dalot, directs his header in field. Hoyland will hold off the challenge of Pinnock as the ball is swept out towards that far side, the left, and now playing on the front foot. Manchester United with Garnacho. Garnacho with a low shot, Flecken down low to his left, manages to tip it behind for a corner kick. 1-1.
He looks up for it, doesn't he, in the second half. Garnacho, ball fizzed out wide from Casemiro, drives on the inside. He must be all of 25 yards out, nearly finds the bottom corner. Tries to bend it past Flecken, who gets down and tips the ball left-handed past the post. Should have better cover there, Brentford.
The sun in the eyes of Flecken. That cap will be certainly utilised here as Eriksson sends over the corner kick. It's an outswinger, downward header by Pinnock and cleared by Damsgaard. Onana is actually on the halfway line here. Cries of shoot there from the Manchester United crowd as Onana swings it out towards that far side. Vandenberg will head it away. Rashford will close him down and wins the ball. Down towards the corner flag. Faces up Vandenberg once more. Rashford trying to tussle against the Dutch defender. Garnacho loses out to Shardo. Manchester United win the ball back. This is Eriksson. Casemiro with a shot. Moved in the air. Pushed away by Flecken. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Portsmouth 2 is the latest score. In fact, news of that goal from Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah, it's Portsmouth 2-1 leading against QPR. Now Callum Lang won the penalty after being tripped by Morgan Fox. He sent the goalkeeper the wrong way. It's now QPR 1, Portsmouth 2.
Dundee United 2, Hibs 1. Manchester United attacking. Bruno Fernandes, low cross from the left. Back to Fernandes! Down into the ground and across the face of goal. The angle was always against him. But Manchester United, much, much better.
Yeah, they're pummelling Brentford in this second half. You know the difference when Brentford have attacked in the second half. We've seen Manchester United players chase back and win the ball back. Eriksson earlier and then Fernandes and Hoyland. I'll tell you what, with the first ball, Hoyland's not far away from getting a tap in.
Brentford will just want to quieten the crowd down. The momentum at the moment is with Manchester United. Some 8 minutes into the second half, now at 1-1 after that Garnacho equaliser. Dalot, forward ball, and then volleyed away by Janelt. Martinez climbs and heads it forward. Walsall are leading at Grimsby Town in League 2 by a 1-0. Here is Damsgaard, just inside his own half. Forward ball to Sharda. De Ligt slides into the challenge. Ball picked up by Mbumo. Evans was also there. It cannons out for a Brentford throw on the far side as we go to Southampton and Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 2, Leicester 0. Couple of Leicester chances. Vardy with a shot blocked inside the area, and then Buonanotte with a curler just after that wide. Southampton 2, Leicester 0.
With Port Vale being held at home by Fleetwood, Doncaster Rovers have just taken the lead at the county ground, leading Swindon by a 0-0, could go top of League 2 tonight. And Dundee United, that goal has been ruled out. VAR has chalked it off, so Dundee United 1, Hibs 1 is still a latest score in Tannadice, as Dalot is going to get a yellow card for coming through the back of Lewis Potter just inside the Manchester United half. As we'll go to Fulham and Will Perry.
Still Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1. Pau Torres played in Watkins, and the tackling foot of Anderson forced a really good save from his own keeper Leno, who's having an excellent game. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1.
That's the third yellow card that has been shown by referee Sam Barrett, bearing in mind that he showed a yellow to Ten Hag and Van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, I mean, Dalot goes to the ground. He actually gets the ball initially. I think that's a harsh one when players slide in like that. You often see them awarded yellow cards. Eric Ten Hag, guess what? Having a pop at the fourth official.
And Gavin Ward, the fourth official, is just telling him to calm down. In fact, I've just did a bit of lip reading. He actually said be careful were his closing comments. As Flecken with the free kick, diagonal, headed away by De Ligt on the edge of the area. Norgaard's going to get a yellow. That was coming all day long for a foul on Garnacho.
Persistent fouling. But where was this real fire in the first half from the Manchester United players? They've gone up a level, haven't they, in terms of intensity? The tackles have been there. They've played with ferocity in this second half.
The Brentford captain is booked. 1-1 on BBC Radio 5 Live. Also live on the World Service and available on the BBC Sounds app. We've got Bournemouth Arsenal to come after Sports Report at 5:30. Tomorrow, as part of 5 Live Premier League Sunday, Wolves Manchester City at 2, Liverpool Chelsea at 4:30. And next week, European action Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, all live on 5 Live, including Manchester United's trip to Fenerbahce. As Mbumo picks it up on that far side, looks for Damsgaard on the overlap right-hand side, level with the penalty area, attacking the Stretford end, past his first man, cross comes in, De Ligt clears it away, out of play, it'll go for a throw. Team news indeed from Bournemouth, Alistair Bruce ball.
No Bukayo Saka for Arsenal for the first time in the Premier League this season. Ben White is back at right back though, Thomas Partey moves back into the midfield, Mikel Merino gets a first start for the club, Kai Havertz starts, as does Leandro Trossard. 3 changes for Bournemouth, Julian Araujo in at right back, Alex Scott in for Ryan Christie who's on the bench, and Dango Ouattara in, Justin Kluivert out.
Danny Gabidon is alongside Ali for commentary at 5:30. Bolton are leading Burton Albion by a goal to nil. Burton Albion, who still yet to win in League One, trailing there to a Bolton side who are unbeaten in 4. Norgard has gone down, stoppage in play. We can go to Craven Cottage now on 5 Live with Will Perry.
Fulham 1, Aston Villa 1. Leno with a man of the match performance here. Another good save to deny Ramsey, this time from a tight angle, and that corner's gone behind for another corner, and there it is. Aston Villa ahead. Ollie Watkins heading in from the corner. Leno finally beaten again. It's Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2.
The goals as they go in live on 5 Live from the throw, headed out by Evans for Manchester United. Norgard lifts it back into the penalty box, and it's caught by Onana inside his 6-yard area as the ball then is thrown out by Onana. And now it is with Dalot, who's got space to run into on this near side to right. He's over the halfway line, he'll switch it to Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, who going through a bit of a barren spell at the moment, finds Rashford with pace, running forward left-hand side, down towards the byline, overruns it, goal kick. It remains 1-1. Updating the Rugby Union now, James Burridge.
Bristol now leading 32 points to 27, a helter-skelter second half. Toby Fricker scoring Bristol's 5th try. It began in their 22 and they raced all the way under the posts. Elliot Daly has just scored for Saracens in the last 5 minutes too. It keeps going this game, 32-27, 55 minutes gone.
Bruno Fernandes, who's still yet to score. The last time that he went on such a barren spell at the start of the season was when he was at Udinese. It was 9 years ago, in fact, for Udinese, as Bolton have got a second goal against Burton Albion. They lead now by 2-0, and Johan Wissa is going to be coming on for the away side, he's been out with a bit of an ankle problem, but he's back on the bench today and getting his final instructions from Keith Andrews. Southampton, Leicester, Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 2, Leicester 0, but it should be 3-0 because Aribo's had a header well saved by Hermansen, and then Dibbling cutting in from the right on his left foot. Good low shot, good save Hermansen again. Southampton 2, Leicester 0.
It remains 1-1, just over half an hour remaining. Mind you, still not forget, Manchester United ideally need to win this game, and it's not like they're coming into it on a good run of form. 5 without a win in all competitions.
No, absolutely. It's can they keep that intensity up, which I've started this second half with.
Aberdeen, who were 2-0 down, have squared it at Celtic Park. Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2 in that top-of-the-table clash in the Scottish Premiership, and we're going back to Lee. There's been another goal at Southampton.
Forget what I said about Southampton making it 3. Leicester have got one back. Buonanotte on the end of a cross from the right, tap in inside the 6 yards area. It's now Southampton 2, Leicester 1.
United attacking. Hoyland fires in the cross, takes the deflection from that left-hand side and goes behind for a corner kick to the home team, just shy of an hour.
Yeah, he's looked quite lively, Hoyland. This is a central striker, pops the ball out left to Canacho, who drives the inside. Hoyland overlaps, fires the ball across, but good defending from Vandenberg.
Made his first Premier League start of the season against Aston Villa before the international break, did Rasmus Hoyland. Corner kick for Manchester United, rolled by Eriksson to Fernandes. Back it goes to Eriksson. Time to deliver the cross. It's a low one. Cut out by Janelt. And the right side of the penalty area for Brentford. Norgard, the captain, digs it out but clears it out of play for a throw. Let's get news of that Aberdeen equaliser then, Kenny Crawford.
The captain has stepped up to the plate. Ian Graham Shinnie, 3rd goal of the season, popped up on the edge of the box when the ball broke to him after a half clearance, thumped it, smashed off a Celtic defender and looked past Kasper Schmeichel. It's Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2.
Fernandes from long range along the ground has tested Fleck, and it was a comfortable save away towards his right. He throws the ball out towards Ayer, the former Celtic defender, who comes forward on this near side to left. He's over the halfway line. Janelt then to Pinnock. And now it goes back out to Collins, who runs out towards the right-hand side. And the ball is picked up by Mbeumo. And Brentford now will go all the way back to Flecken. A delayed kick-off at Portman Road, Ipswich-Everton. Chris Coles has the latest.
Second half just underway, a minute into it. Ipswich 0, Everton 2. Big second half needed from Ipswich, otherwise another game will go by and still no Premier League win. Ipswich 0, Everton 2.
You'll hear the full-time result into Sports Report before our next commentary from Bournemouth, where Arsenal are without Bukayo Saka. 1-1 it remains here at Old Trafford. Brentford, who've lost all 3 away games in the Premier League this season. Mind you, they have played Liverpool, Manchester City and Tottenham. And just like at Old Trafford here today, they did take the lead at Manchester City and also against Spurs. As Garnacho running forward, bit of space to run into. Garnacho sends over the cross low, left-hand side. It'll be kept alive by Rashford, down by the corner flag near side the right. Manchester United attacking with Rashford. Faced up by 2 Brentford players, back to Casemiro, cross comes in, Fernandes in the air, always going wide off his head, goal kick 1-1, Chris Sutton.
Yeah, just too high there for Bruno Fernandes, the ball whipped in from Casemiro, but the plan for Manchester United in this second half, get the ball out to Garnacho on that left-hand side. He is causing havoc. Vandenberg is twisting him inside and out. Ball fizzed across the 6-yard line. No gamblers from Manchester United and Brentford now, just trying to slow things down, take the sting out of the game.
Burton have got a goal back. Bolton Wanderers 2, Burton Albion 1 is the latest score. It was Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2. There have been developments and a player has been sent off, but who? Will Perry.
A red card for Joachim Andersen. I'm not sure about this one at all. Mr. Sutton will be talking about this. Back to you, Ian.
Manchester United are in front with Højlund. A delicate chip over Flecken, and they have turned it around here at Old Trafford. Erik ten Hag applauds. A delicate finish by Rasmus Højlund. His first goal in the Premier League is a valuable one. United 2, Brentford 1.
Well, the finish is an absolute delight from Højlund, who lifts the ball over Flecken. The touch from Bruno Fernandes, though, is sensational. And Højlund celebrating with Fernandes, pointing to Fernandes, because it's that little touch with the outside of his right boot which puts Højlund through. Mentioned in the first half, they hadn't had those combinations. It's Eriksson into Bruno Fernandes. Højlund just onside, plays the ball the outside of his right boot to him. He sits Flecken down and lifts it over him. Wonderful finish, and United from behind take the lead.
An impudent little chip by Højlund, took it so well. Port Vale 2, Fleetwood 1. Blackpool have equalised at home to Barnsley 1-1, and you're up to date with the goals as they go in on 5 Live. But 63 minutes played, and what a contrast to the emotion in the 18 minutes of the second half. As we go back to Will at Craven Cottage.
Yeah, just to clear that up, so Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2, but it's Joachim Andersen. This is never a red card for me. Anyway, it is. He's gone down the tunnel. It's a defensive sort of tackle. He's put his arm into the shoulder area of Watkins, and he's been shown a straight red by Darren England. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2, Fulham down to 10.
Thanks, Will. Notts County lead Wimbledon by a goal to 0. They've lost their last 3 at home in League 2 at Meadow Lane as Damsgaard to Mbumo. Wissa still waits to come on, incidentally. He's been waiting a long time for Brentford. Mbumo can't thread it through. And Manchester United, who've passed the ball sharper, they have looked a different side in this second half.
Yep, they've played with such great fire and intensity in this second half. Really pressurised Brentford when they're on the ball. The question is can they keep it up? Now they've got the noses in front.
Brentford have the ball at the back. They're now trailing by 2-1. News of that goal at Port Vale from Nestor McGregor.
Yeah, sweeping move from the home side. The ball finding its way to Ryan Croasdale just inside the box. It was a low shot across the keeper into the far corner. The team top of League 2 on top at the moment.
Charlton have equalised at home to Stockport 1-1. Brentford with Ayer. Finds Damsgaard. Midway through the Manchester United half. Holds off the challenge of Højlund but couldn't get past Casemiro. Rashford on this right-hand side. Stopped and dispossessed by Ayer. Erik ten Hag applauds, and it will go out of play for a Brentford throw on this near side. 65 minutes played, and it is going to be Wissa's opportunity to come on now, and the player who's coming off is Keane Lewis Potter. So Wissa is on for him with 25 minutes remaining. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, and Kevin Schade will move to the left-hand side. Wissa, who And a really decent start to the season. He'll go in that central striking position as Brentford try and get themselves back into this game. Quite frankly, the second half they have been nowhere near it, but I think that's down more to Manchester United.
St Johnstone 3, Ross County 0 is the latest score, as Flecken almost shows too much of the ball to Fernandes, gets it away to Collins. The press from Manchester United won't go with Sam Vandenberg. The ball just wouldn't run with his legs, and he had to go back not once but twice to actually retrieve it. Grimsby Town 0, Walsall 2 is the latest score in League 2. Huddersfield 3, Bristol Rovers 1 is the latest from League 1. Brentford trailing by 2-1, 66 minutes played. Manchester United, who seems to be sharper in so much aspects of their game now, which wasn't the case in the first half.
No, even then, Marcus Rashford, I think the last couple of seasons he's had accusation levelled at him. He doesn't work hard enough off the ball. He did then, getting back in front of Christopher Ayer.
With the exception of Ipswich 0, Everton 2 in that delayed game at Portman Road, every other game in the 3 o'clocks in the Premier League is settled at the minute just by a 1-goal margin, and that includes the one at St Mary's. Lee Blakeman.
Southampton 2, Leicester 1. Fatau's just hit the crossbar from 25 yards out. He's had a header saved by Ramsdale on the line, and now we've got a VAR check for a possible foul, so Leicester could have a penalty. Come back to me. Southampton 2, Leicester 1. Anthony Taylor looking at the screen.
We will. In the meantime, we are going to go to Sincil Bank. There's a penalty. Shojo Saka.
Penalty for Lincoln. Rico Hackett off the bench. It's saved. It's saved. He's come back in. No, it's Birmingham stay alive. It's Rico Hackett who's missed it. Lincoln 1, Birmingham 2.
Thank you, Shojo. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Fulham 1, Aston Villa 2, Ipswich 0, Everton 2, Newcastle United 0, Brighton 1, Southampton 2, Leicester 1, although that could change. We'll be back with Lee in a moment. And here at Old Trafford, Manchester United, who were trailing at the break, have turned it around in the second half and lead by 2-1. Damsgaard slides the ball through to Mbeumo, well read by De Ligt, just stepping out of defence. There's been another goal. It's at Craven Cottage. Will Perry.
Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. Now he's only just come on the pitch after that red card for Joachim Andersen, and Issa Diop has turned a Luca Digne cross past his own keeper Leno. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3.
It remains St Johnstone 2, Ross County 0. They've had a goal disallowed at McDermott Park. Penalty at Southampton, Lee Blakeman.
To be taken by Leicester's Jamie Vardy, with Southampton leading 2-1. They're down to 10. Fraser's been sent off, and Vardy scores the penalty with great power. Southampton 2, Leicester 2.
Ball high downfield. Darlow was running in. He was one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and it was an important block by Flecken.
Well, Darlow, from the right-back position of Manchester United, just runs in behind Sharda. One long ball from Onana. He's through one-on-one. And that's a crucial block from Flecken.
Certainly is. That would have put the game potentially out of sight for Brentford. Dallow, who has yet to score a Premier League goal here inside this stadium. So Southampton 2, Leicester 2. Southampton throwing away a 2-goal lead. Celtic were leading by 2-0. Aberdeen pegged them back, but there's just been another goal. Kenny Crawford.
There has, which is getting checked for a possible handball at the moment, but if it is given, it'll be a remarkable turnaround. It will be Celtic 2, Aberdeen 3. Jamie McGrath's free kick from the left-hand side swung into a busy 6-yard box. It looked like Portuguese-born forward Duke got the final touch, but they're checking for that possible handball at the moment, so it's still 2-2 unless this goal is given. We will give you the flag up once we know it's a very long check.
Elsewhere, Port Vale 3, Fleetwood 1. Thanks, Kenny. So 69 minutes played on BBC Radio 5 Live, and Manchester United are leading Brentford by 2-1 as Onana waits to clear his lines and eventually hits it downfield. Hoyland backing into Pinnock. Little touch around the corner towards Rashford, but Collins was there for a forceful clearance for Brentford. Latching on to that bouncing ball is Mbeumo. He's done well. Left corner of the area. Now leaves it to Wissa, the substitute. Wissa cutting inside. Here is Sharda. Links up with Wissa. Almost gets in Wissa's way. And then Norgard just tried the little flick off. That didn't quite come off. Hoyland back there. Hoyland then was caught. The referee will have to revisit that, but he might let the play continue. Good advantage played by Sam Barrett, as now Casemiro just touches the ball to Martinez. Under 20 minutes remaining. Manchester United lead by 2-1. That goal was disallowed, incidentally. So it remains Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2. That goal for Duke, handball, VAR has ruled it out. So 2-2 between the two sides, with 100% winning starts before today at the top of the Scottish Premiership. 19 minutes remain. Swindon have equalised at home to Doncaster Rovers, and news of that goal at Vale Park from Nestor McGregor.
Yeah, and Port Vale boss Darren Moore can take lots of credit. He brought on 2 subs on 65 minutes. One provided the assist for their second goal, and the other, Ronan Curtis, has just headed them into a 3-1 lead. Port Vale unbeaten in 7. That run looks to continue.
Onana went through the middle. He tried to pick out the run of Dallow, but it went through towards Flecken. But still the game remains on a bit of a knife edge.
Yeah, it does, and Dallow getting some joy from that run in behind the Brentford backline from Manchester United right back. It's so important now that Manchester United find a way just to get over the line here now. They keep their composure and see this game through. It's not done yet.
Brentford, who were trailing the last time that they lost their opening 4 games on the road to a league season, was 61-62 when they lost their opening 9 under Malcolm McDonald in the 3rd tier. Not that Malcolm McDonald, incidentally, not Super Mac. There was a Brentford defender by that name who then went on to become a manager as Walsall have got a 3rd goal. Grimsby Town 0, Walsall 3. 18 minutes remaining. Manchester United coming forward. Fernandes passes the ball towards Garnacho, cut out by a backtracking Collins. Now Vandenberg over on that far side. Carvalho is going to be coming on for Sharda, and Xerxes is going to be coming on for Hoyland. So changes being made by both sides in these last 18 minutes. Manchester United, 14 of their last 20 wins in the Premier League since the start of last season have been by a 1-goal margin. Xerxes is getting his final instructions with that bushy hair from the coaches down below.
Yeah, and I think that substitution just fresh legs for Hoyland, but I think Hoyland's had a good game, not just his goal, in terms of his hold-up play, his link-up play. It's been a good battle against Pinnock, the Brentford centre-half, who's mainly marked him. How crucial could that goal be for Erik ten Hag?
Well, it could be vital, judging by the scrutiny that the Dutchman has been under, as Mbeumo runs out towards that far side and triggers the offside flag, as Tranmere Rovers, who without a win in 6, are against a Bromley side who've gone 10 games without a win. But Bromley are behind. Bromley 0, Tranmere Rovers 1 is the latest score in League 2. And Xerxes is going to be coming on. Hoyland comes off, but as you say, there is a level of appreciation inside Old Trafford for the all-round play of Rasmus Hoyland, despite the fact that he's also been on the score sheet with a potentially winning goal. Contributed very well to the Manchester United cause.
I think he's been a really good focal point, and balls have gone into him. They've stuck, he's linked the play well, and the quality of his finish. Flecken came out, made himself big, but the composure which he showed to lift it over him was really excellent. A sublime goal. Can Xerxes make that same impression? Slightly different type of centre-forward he is, but he's going to have to lead the Manchester United line now.
Yarmouk, the young Ukrainian midfielder, is going to be coming on for Janelt. That's in fact going to be a double change being made by Thomas Frank. And then it's Sharda who's off for Fabio Carvalho, who they signed from Liverpool in August for, it was a 5-year deal for £22.5 million. Derby County, who've lost all 4 away in the Championship, are leading at Millwall. Millwall 0, Derby County 1. Sports report with all the results, and as much live reaction as we can squeeze in before our next commentary at Bournemouth is coming up with Mark Chapman at 5 o'clock, as something is happening. There's an altercation in the crowd which is getting a lot of everybody's attention, just as above the tunnel area in the left-hand side. The stewards and police are involved in that Manchester United end. You can see objects being tossed. The stewards are forcing a spectator away from the crowd who's being led away under a little bit of a protest, as there's been a goal elsewhere. It's at Lincoln Shojo Osaka.
Lincoln 1, Birmingham 3. The leaders extending their lead against the run of play. Yokoyama with a run down the right. Ball came right across, and it was Keshi Anderson with the finish. His second of the game. Lincoln 1, Birmingham 3.
Dundee United 1, Hibs 2 as the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Manchester United leading by 2-1. Damsgaard forward though for Brentford. All their 10 points have been picked up in West London this season, as here is Pinnock. Norgard, forward ball, Wissa trying to take it into his stride, couldn't do so. Evans was there, Eriksson with a back pass, and Onana clears it first time right-footed downfield. Charlie Telfer has been sent off for Ross County. They're down to 9 men as they trail at St Johnstone by 2-0. As the ball picked up by Yarmouk, tries to get it through towards Mbumo, coming in off that right touchline. Manchester United now with Rashford, able to turn over the halfway line. Garnacho's ahead of him. In fact, Rashford bypasses Garnacho there, who now makes a little trot on the inside of him, and Fernandes slows it down for Manchester United, looking for the 3 points after just 1 win in 6 in the Premier League. And De Ligt slows it down, and Manchester United seem to have much more control.
Yeah, I think they're certainly doing the right thing. They've made changes, but just keeping the ball, trying to draw Brentford out. There's still work to do. Garnacho looks tired, but he's put so much into this second half.
Let's go to Newcastle United, Maz Faruqi.
Well, Danny Welbeck, the goal scorer in this game, has just had to be stretchered off with a back issue after coming together with Cher. Rightly, the medical staff were being very cautious with him. Newcastle still trail well into the last 7 minutes, but we've had that significant delay. Newcastle 0, Brighton 1.
Thank you, Maz. Manchester United, Rashford. Zirkzee going through the middle, turns with his back to goal. Manchester United playing from left to right on the half volley, clipped out by Casemiro. Garnacho now operating on this right hand side. Casemiro hits it first time from distance, off target goal kick. So latest scores in the Scottish Premiership: Celtic 2, Aberdeen 2. Dundee United 1, Hibs 2. Hearts lead St Mirren at Tynecastle by 2-0. Motherwell 0, Dundee 1, and St Johnstone now lead the 9 men of Ross County by 2-0. Latest scores in League 2. The result in that early game was Accrington beating Barrow by 1-0. Bradford City 2, Gillingham 1. Bromley 0, Tranmere 1. That could be 11 without a win for Bromley. Carlisle 1, Harrogate 1, Colchester 1, Cheltenham 2, Crewe 1, Salford 1, Grimsby 0, Walsall 3, Morecambe 1, MK Dons 3. Notts County lead Wimbledon by 1-0. Port Vale, the leaders, looking to go 9 unbeaten, lead Fleetwood by 3-1, and Swindon 1, second place Doncaster Rovers 1. In fact, Tranmere have now got a second goal at Bromley. Bromley 0, Tranmere Rovers 2. Give you the latest scores in League 1 and the Championship and the Premier League in a moment, but Brentford midway through the Manchester United half with 12 minutes remaining. Damsgaard on this near side, running in field midway through the Manchester United half. Red shirts back behind the ball, all 10 outfield players, as Mbumo waits on that far side. And Mbumo back inside now to Pinnock. Pinnock inside the centre circle. Collins is available to him. Manchester United, though, keeping their shape at this stage. The 2 results in League 1, Reading beat Crawley by 4-1, as Damsgaard fouls Eriksson. That'll be a free kick to Manchester United. And Wickham beat Peterborough by 3-1. Latest scores in League 1, Blackpool 1, Barnsley 1, Bolton 2, Burton 1. Burton bottom of the table as it stands like that because they're yet to win. And Cambridge is still 2-0 up at home to Wigan, which will be their first win of the season. Charlton 1, Stockport 1, Huddersfield 3, Bristol Rovers 1, Lincoln 1, Birmingham City 3, the leaders, Mansfield 0, Stevenage 1, Northampton 1, Leyton Orient 0, Rotherham 0, second place Wrexham 1. Latest in the Premier League from Ipswich comes from Chris Coles.
Ipswich 0, Everton 2, still 25 minutes to play. Further chances for Everton to put this game out of reach for Ipswich. Calvert-Lewin and Njai, good positions for both, weak finishes from both. Ipswich 0, Everton 2.
The 4 results in the Championship earlier: Cardiff hammered Plymouth by 5-0. Just break off because Manchester United are attacking. Martinez through the middle, that was blocked, comes out towards Rashford. They're appealing for a penalty there, for a potential handball. Sam Barrett, the referee, though, says not. VAR, of course, would check. Luton beat Watford 3-0. Oxford 1, West Brom 1 is how it finished. And Preston North End and the Paul Heckingbottom unbeaten now in 6 at home after a 1-0 victory against Coventry City. Latest scores in the Championship: Blackburn leads Swansea by 1-0. Middlesbrough 0, Bristol City 2. Millwall 1, Derby 1. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Portsmouth 2. Pompey could be on course for their first win of the season. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 2. Burnley looking to go 7 unbeaten. Stoke 1, Norwich City 1. Premier League to come with 10 minutes remaining. Chris Sutton.
Yeah, Manchester United fully in control. Second half performance has been excellent, really good on the ball and off the ball. They have worked so hard, and can they see it through now? Eriksson and Casemiro given that Manchester United backline really good protection, and then they've looked the threat going forward because of the wingmen.
Ball over the top, Casemiro hooks it back, Rashford, it might fall to Xerxes, just couldn't get the touch. It was always going away from him. He had an outstretched left foot but could never bring it under control. Tottenham 4, West Ham 1 was the result in the Premier League earlier. Latest scores: Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. Fulham are down to 10 men. Joachim Andersen has been sent off. Manchester United 2, Brentford 1 here. Newcastle 0, Brighton 1, Southampton 2, Leicester 2. Ryan Fraser sent off. Southampton were 2-0 up. Ipswich 0, Everton 2. Commentary to come at 5:30. Bournemouth Arsenal. Chris.
That was the game right there for Manchester United. Xerxes, had he got the ball under control, would have been an easy finish. 12 yards out just to keep it a beat. He didn't. It got away from him, and Flecken got down well and made the save.
Here is Norgard. Bearing in mind, last season there was late goals in this fixture. Even if you think back to the game, that 1-1 draw at Brentford, where Mason Mount had scored in the 90th minute and Ayer popped up with a 99th minute equaliser. And then the 2 Scott Tomlin goals that we'd referred to in the first half, when Manchester United came from behind. So nobody will be resting on their laurels here at Old Trafford, that is for sure. 2-1 to the home team. Ayer to Damsgaard. The return ball to Ayer, too far ahead of him. And as the 2 number 20s go down this near side, it is that of Dalot who's able to turn and wins a throw for Manchester United. Latest from Fulham, Will Perry.
Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. The man who's surely a contender for scoring the quickest own goal as a sub nearly made amends. Issa Diop with a header that was held by Martinez. A Fulham goal would make this interesting with 5 to play. Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3.
Certainly a few goals to look forward to on Match of the Day tonight. 10:25 on BBC One. Rashford nips in, leaves it for Casemiro, pings the ball out towards Garnacho, slides to keep the ball in play over the halfway line on the far side, the left. Garnacho held up by Mbumo, out of play, it goes for a throw. Updating the rugby, James Burridge.
34 now to Bristol. Saracens have come from 15 points down. A second try for Elliot Daly, converted by Lazowski, who had not missed. 6 kicks from 6. 5 minutes to go. There is 1 point in it.
Monday Night Club from 7 with Mark Chapman will dissect all of the weekend's action. Arsenal Shakhtar is our commentary from Tuesday. Leipzig Liverpool on Wednesday in the Champions League, and then in the Europa League in Istanbul, Fenerbahce against Manchester United. As Manchester United now with Rashford on the attack, leading by 2-1. Rashford enters the penalty area, gets the shot away, blocked by the legs of Collins. Comes to Norgard, teams up Collins on this near side, and the ball is with Wissa. Wissa running forward, 2 go to meet it, De Ligt, Damsgaard, De Ligt still there as well. Manchester United with a turnover. De Ligt is sent forward, keeps the ball in play. De Ligt looks up on the right. De Ligt cuts it back behind Xerxes, falls to Garnacho, hits it right footed straight at Flecken. 2-1 they lead.
Just greater endeavour from this Manchester United team in the second half. De Ligt excellent there, winning the first challenge, ending up on the right wing, feeding the ball back, and Garnacho couldn't find a corner.
Grimsby Town 1, Walsall 3 is the latest score. Grimsby have a goal back, and amidst the din, I think we're meant to go to Southampton, Lee Blake.
Southampton 2, Leicester 2, 1 minute to go. Leicester pushing for a winner against the 10 men. James Justin has just sent a cross straight across the face of goal. It needed a touch, a yard out, didn't get one, it shaved the post. Southampton 2, Leicester 2.
If Lee's just said 1 minute to go, we've got 6 minutes remaining here at Old Trafford of normal time, with Manchester United still leading by 2-1, but Brentford are attacking. Shot fired in by Carvalho, the former Liverpool man, blocked, cleared up in the air by Fernandez. Bouncing ball that Xerxes is unable to bring under control, headed forward by Pinnock and Mbumo, challenged by Casemiro, and that will go for a Brentford free kick on that far side, the right.
That's what Manchester United don't need. Brentford now have the option of popping the ball in to the box, and we've spoken about they're a sizable team, so well organised from set plays. That Carvalho shot was heading goalwards, left footed. I think it hits Wissa in the back. It does hit him in the back. Onana would have had work to do.
Hearts who've been struggling in the Scottish Premiership this season are leading St Mirren by 3-0 at Tynecastle. Brentford have that free kick then, good 20 yards into the Manchester United half on that far side, the right, with less than 5 minutes remaining of normal time. Manchester United with a wall of red have got a defensive line which is just outside the D of their own penalty area. Damsgaard waits to take the free kick on that far side, the right. Damsgaard hits it, flicked on by Carvalho, headed away then by Casemiro to Garnacho, loses the ball as Damsgaard wins it back. Damsgaard plays the ball out towards Mbeumo. Mbeumo with a cross, it's a deep one, drifting towards the far post, headed back then by Collins, flags up on that far side, free kick to Manchester United. Stockport County are down to 10. They're away at Charlton, and Dave Challoner's side are still drawing with Charlton 1-1. They're going to have to see out the last 2 minutes with 10 men, as Ruerslev is going to be coming on. Mads Ruerslev, the Danish international, and he's come on, and the player who's gone off is Vandenberg. So like for like, but probably a little bit more attack-minded.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Vandenberg, his head will be spinning. He's had a tough afternoon, hasn't he, against Garnacho. Worry for Erik ten Hag. Casemiro sitting down inside his own box. I don't know whether he's just wasting a bit of time, but he's holding his calf.
Ugarte and Lindelof are the two players who are going to be coming on for Manchester United in the closing stages of this game. Barnsley are now leading Blackpool by 2-1. That's a latest from League One, and there are no other goals elsewhere to tell you about, as Bruno Fernandes has come across and is also getting some instructions from the bench as Manchester United look to just see out this game, leading 2-1. They've only collected 2 points out of a possible 9 since they won away at Southampton by 3-0. Johnny Evans will make way for Lindelof, so he will get a little bit more match action after that 45-minute run out against Aston Villa for his first appearance of the season in the second half. And Ugarte for Casemiro, you would think, who's back on his feet but hobbling.
Yeah, the wandering off, and so Johnny Evans, a magnificent player he has been over the years, and today barely put a foot wrong, reads the game so well, great leader at the back.
We can dip into the Championship as there's this double change taking place. Sonny Radravajala at Hillsborough.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 2 goals from Jadon Anthony in the first half and Josh Brownhill 5 after the restart mean Burnley top the table in the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Burnley 2.
Grimsby 1, Walsall 4 is the latest score in League 2. We still have 2 minutes remaining. Casemiro is off, Johnny Evans is off. What an ovation for Johnny Evans.
Well, absolutely, he has been a rock at the back for Manchester United. Brilliant in his last game, so dependable. Second half, Brentford have barely had a shot. He's such a great organiser, and now Lindelof got to step in and see it through.
So St Mary's, Lee Blakeman.
Leicester should have won it. It's still 2-2. Buonanotte 16 yards out, running onto it, dragged it just wide of the bottom corner. We've got 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Southampton 2, Leicester 2.
Blackburn have beaten Swansea by 1-0. Doncaster Rovers now lead at Swindon by 2-1. Rashford darts into the penalty area. Rashford gets the shot away, right-footed. Corner kick. It was a good sliding challenge by Nathan Collins, who matched him stride for stride.
Yeah, just that touch from Collins. I think Rashford has been excellent this afternoon, along with Garnacho. Those wide men causing havoc in this second half, especially. Direct play, gets a shot in, and Collins gets a touch. It goes behind. No rush for Eriksson from the corner.
Hibs are down to 10 men. They are leading, though, at Dundee United by 2-1. Eriksson waits to take the corner. The Brentford travelling support, a few boos and jeers for the Dane who had that spell with them. Eriksson with the corner, it's an outswinger, headed out by Collins, comes to Garnacho, 25 yards out from goal. He loses the ball as he slips, and Mbeumo now runs forward. We're about to find out how much added on time there will be here at Old Trafford, with the home team still leading by 2-1, as Fernandes fires the ball forward. Roerslev heads it to Yarmouk, comes back then to Collins, and Pinnock across the back. Manchester United pressing. Yarmouk with a little turn, Damsgaard in the centre circle, forward ball, Brentford looking here for Wissa. Wissa enters the penalty area, couldn't get sight of goal, back towards Yarmolenko, who hits it right-footed on the rise, and the Ukrainian sees it whistle over the crossbar as we have 5 minutes of added on time, with Manchester United still leading by 2-1, and to Newcastle, Mats Faruqi.
Well, Dan Burn has had the ball in the back of the net for Newcastle, but he was well offside. The flag up on the far side. We're playing 9 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this match because of that injury to Danny Welbeck, and it is still Newcastle 0, Brighton 1.
Mazraoui should get an excellent ovation here, bearing in mind that the Moroccan international, who had heart palpitations, had to have a minor procedure to cure that. He comes on for Garnacho, who's had a fine game, so Mazraoui is on.
Yeah, we just see how Manchester United shape up. Mazraoui, their 3 centre-halves.
St Johnstone 3, Ross County 0. Ross County have had 2 players sent off, and we've already had 1 sending off at Craven Cottage, and now I hear of another, Will Perry.
We haven't. It's all square in terms of red cards, but it's still Fulham 1, Aston Villa 3. Jaden Philogene, 2 yellow cards in the space of 3.5 minutes. The second one, a stupid shove, and he's walking down the tunnel. Fulham 1, Villa 3.
We're into the second minute of the 5 to be added on. Remember that game at Ipswich was a delayed kick-off, 3:15. Lee Blakeman talked about, was it 9? No, it was Maz, wasn't it? It was talking about 9 minutes to be continued. So there's going to be a couple of games that will be going late on into Sports Report. Hearts have got a 4th goal at home to St Mirren. Still not over here is Brentford. Coming forward on that far side with Ayer, who's switched to the right, finds Mbeumo. Mbeumo will then curl the ball to Collins. Left of the centre circle for Brentford, trailing by 2-1. And now to Norgard. Norgard out towards that far side. And now to Norgard. We'll be going to St Mary's, where I can tell you there has been a late goal, but we wait because Brentford are attacking with Mbeumo down the right-hand side. Gets away from one sliding challenge, and it's a Manchester United throw. Lee Blakeman, who's got it?
Old Trafford, the attendance this afternoon is 73,700.
Lee, are you there?
Thank you for your support.
Southampton 2, Leicester 3. Jordan Ayew, I can tell you, has got that goal in the 98th minute. Southampton, who were 2-0 up, Ryan Fraser sent off and still searching for a first win. What a dramatic turnaround for Leicester City. Wrexham have beaten Rotherham by 1-0. Second in the table, and they will keep pace with Birmingham, who the last we heard were 3-1 up at Sincilbank at the top of League One. We have 2 minutes remaining. Manchester United lead Brentford by 2-1. Rashford running back, taking Collins with him midway through his own half, and wins a throw for Manchester United off the legs of the Brentford defender.
Yeah, he's been sensational. Marcus Rashford this afternoon carried a threat. Manchester United just need another minute or two. They deserve to win this. The comeback has been unbelievable in the second half.
And all that jeopardy building with a scrutiny on the future of manager Erik ten Hag has eased with his second half performance, which has been much more on the front foot for the home team. Updating the rugby, James Burridge.
Saracens somehow have stolen this game. They've won 37-35. They've come from 15 points down, and Alex Lazowski has knocked over the winning penalty 2 minutes into injury time. Bristol will be kicking themselves. Saracens 37, Bristol 35. Saracens go top.
Brentford with Mbeumo sends over the cross from the right-hand side. Kept in play by Ruerslev and then clattered out of play by Rashford, but there's a replacement ball on a luminous cone that Damsgaard has quickly picked up, and in fact they're going to leave it for Norgard. Bromley have got a goal back in League 2. Bromley 1, Tranmere Rovers 2. This is only going one way. By my watch, 45 seconds remain of the minimum of 5, with Manchester United holding a slender lead at Old Trafford. And Norgard, not helped by the way that the little camber on the pitch there, a steep bank that he has to go right on the edge, launches it in, cleared by the United defence, only as far as Yarmolenko. 2 balls are on the pitch at the moment as a cross comes in from Ruerslev into the penalty area. Bouncing ball in the penalty area, still kept alive. Carvalho shoots, and it's off target, left-footed, wide of the right-hand post. 2-1 to United.
They've worked so hard in this second half, but that's all it takes. Just switched off from a knockdown there, and Carvalho 18 yards out. Quick first touch, and with his second touch, just drags his shot wide of the left-hand post.
Port Vale will remain top of League Two because they've beaten Fleetwood by 3-1. Full time at Southampton. Lee Blakeman.
It's ended. Southampton 2, Leicester 3. Jordan Ayew with a 98th minute winner on the 18-yard line, bottom corner. What a comeback. Southampton 2, Leicester 3.
Brighton still lead at Newcastle by 1-0. Everton are 2-0 up at Ipswich, and Aston Villa lead Fulham by 3-1. Both teams have had a player sent off. 2-1 here to Manchester United. The 5 minutes of added on time are up. We're just seeing how much extra the referee will add on as Eriksson hits it high downfield. The supporters are baying for the final whistle. Flecken brings it out of his penalty area, hits it right-footed. It would seem that Brentford, who've lost their last 7 at Old Trafford, that losing sequence is going to continue. Their losing sequence away on their travels in the Premier League as Ugarte makes a strong run. Rashford has Fernandes going ahead of him. Here is Fernandes. Fernandes tests the goalkeeper from a tight angle. But there is the full-time whistle. A morale-boosting win for Erik ten Hag. He says the noise is external. It was certainly a worrying scoreline at half-time, but they turned it around in the second half. 2-1, they've beaten Brentford, Crystal.
Yep, that's the best way to do your talking on the pitch. Best 45 minutes I've seen from Manchester United this season. Came from behind to win. The first goal from Garnacho was wonderful. And then Højlund with a clever finish after a real piece of invention from Bruno Fernandes. United from behind, that's the level.
Manchester United 2, Brentford 1, the full-time score.